out of apartment 5B.
You're now tuned into the Apartment 5B podcast, where we chop it up about hip-hop, R&B, sports, love and life. Hosted by Kool.
What's good? You are tuning to Apartment 5B podcast hosted by your man Kool. I got my squad with me. In effect, as always, I got my brother, the youngest in charge, R&B guru, JR. What's good, fam?
What's going on? Feel good to be back, man. We're gone for about 2 weeks, but we here.
Yo, dope velvet rope joint. Love that joint. My favorite jam right there. No doubt. Very dope joint. Got my brother Rel out of Philly. What's going on, bro?
What's good? Happy to be back, of course. Same as JR, man. Been a few weeks, but glad to be here.
Hey, it's the daily reminder that the Eagles are your Super Bowl champions. Tone from Enter the Dome out of North Carolina. What's going on, bro?
What's good, fam? Good to see y'all, man. You know how it is.
No doubt. Now, yo, we got two special guests with us for the first time, straight from their podcast, Hip Hop Talk. Got my man AG, got my man Sean. AG, what's good, bro?
Peace, man. I'm honored to be here, man. Like I've been looking forward to this show. We was glad to have you on our show a little over a week ago, and glad you returned the favor and had us here, man. It's still sharp and steel. So let's get it.
No doubt, bro. No doubt. And Sean, what's up, bro? I love that backdrop, man. The kicks look beautiful, man.
Get your bro. Queens get the money. Hip Hop Talks. Love to collaborate with you guys. AG and I was talking about this for over a week and a half now. Like-minded brothers. We want to just chop up some real hip hop talk.
No doubt. Well, y'all know me out there. Let's jump right into it. If you follow Apartment 5B, prayerfully you rock with us throughout the years. We used to always do these joints called What If. Now, What If is an old school Marvel comic book that I used to love back in the day. It'd be like, what if, I don't know, Spiderman. I know one of them was what if Wolverine killed Spiderman. That was one of my favorites. Then there was another one, what if Spider-Man was part of Fantastic Four. So it's always these spaced out like what ifs would have happened. And now for Marvel heads, they turned it into a cartoon series on I think Disney Plus or whatever the streaming joint is. So we always did what ifs. We do these like about once a year. And with Hip Hop Talk, these are comic book dudes right here too, mixed in with hip hop, and it's only right that we chopped it up about some comic book stuff for their episodes to definitely tap in about that. Matter of fact, AG, that's my bet. Talk a little bit about Hip Hop Talk. Give them a little bit about where they can check it out. What's the whole science behind the podcast and everything like that.
Well, sure, appreciate it. Yeah, me and Sean are part of Hip Hop Talks. We also have our own spinoff show on the Hip Hop Talks network called Stoop Stories. Stoop Stories is a unique flavor of where we dive into particular subject matter. And for our last episode, we had Kool as a guest, and we talked about the marriage between Marvel and Marvel Comics and hip hop on a lot of different fronts. So we was proud to have Kool on there as a special guest. So if you can, head over to Hip Hop Talks and check out that episode. That's one that you don't want to miss. But, we always just talk, current hip hop, old school hip hop, everything going on that's viral. We got a lot of different looks over there on our channel. We would appreciate if you would go over there and check us out.
All right, dope. Sean, anything else you want to tap in with about Hip Hop Talk?
Yeah, AG hit on the head. We love to talk hip hop, culture, everything. We talk about hip hop and health. We talk about everything. Like a lot of our conversations behind the scenes is like just really building about how hip hop affected us coming up, and we try to bring that to the screen as well and have those delicate conversations, those intricate conversations. So yeah, that's what Hip Hop Talks is about for us.
All right, no doubt. And you already know if I'm co-signing it, it's dope. So just go out there and run up their numbers too. So we are doing hip hop what ifs. One of the ones we did before was, if a lot of people don't know, MC Shan was supposed to be on the symphony originally. You know what I mean? But at the time, Shan was like, I ain't fucking with these new dudes talking about Kane, G-Rap, and all of them. And he never showed up. That's how Masta Ace got on it. So a hip hop what if could be, is the symphony as dope as we know it to be if you take off Masta Ace and you put on MC Shan? Is it still the same song? So those are things that we're going to be talking about tonight. Everybody here has 5 what ifs. We're going to just be chopping up about it. I'm going to set us off. Tone, I'm going to give a shout out to my man Rich from the Greatest Folk Show. Me and Tone was just a guest on his podcast on Tuesday, and we were talking about the 95 Source Awards. So my what if is, what if the 95 Source Awards never happens? What if it never happens? What if do we still get an East Coast West Coast beef? What if Suge never says and you don't want the niggas all dancing up in your video? Does anything change with the South having something to say? If Outkast doesn't win that award, what happens? Does Nas, because here's the thing that from Questlove's book, he talks about everybody knew Nas was going to win Lyricist of the Year. And when he didn't, he said you could see Nas just sink in his chair. Like, yo, what the fuck? So Quest was like, I could tell right then and there we weren't getting Illmatic Part 2. Because Nas wanted that award. He saw what Big was doing in order to get, so he was like, when I heard it was written, it wasn't no shock. When I heard If I Ruled the World, I knew at that moment that that's where Nas was going to go because he wanted to be Lyricist of the Year. So if none of these things happen and the Source Awards just never happens, how does that change hip hop? Off the top of my head, and we're going to go around and try to keep it quick because I want to get into everybody's things. I think it changes everything. I don't know if we get the East Coast, West Coast. I think we still get it. I don't know if it's as big because Pac still has that venom in him from the quad shooting. He still signs the death row. Like me and Tone was saying, to me, there were a whole bunch of things behind the scenes that a lot of people didn't know about that led up to Suge saying that. So all those things that were happening behind the scenes, Pac being locked up, quad shooting, I think it still happens. I just think that just pushed it to the forefront immediately. Like that just would have made front page news. You know what I mean? Like that. As far as the South, I don't know. I think the people who fucked with Outkast before the Source Awards, but we have to also understand that the awards brings a lot of people in for people to be like, damn, who Outkast? Damn, they won New Artist of the Year? Like, so maybe if they never win that award, it does kind of change things for the South. And maybe we do get Illmatic too, because if Nas is like, oh, okay, well, I already know I'm Lyricist of the Year, everybody knows it, I still keep it moving. So that's it. Tone, I know you had your hand up. You got a thought real quick?
Yeah, man, because think about this. As far as Outkast, if the Source Awards doesn't happen the way it happened or doesn't happen at all, ATLians might sound different. Because I think they came back with a vengeance because they was pissed off, like we talked about the other night, when they got announced, Andre and Big Bo was clapping because some of the people in the crowd was booing. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, when he said the South got something to say, it really literally changed everything down here because they did a little special about that. Like Ludacris talked about it, like Jermaine Dupri, G's. A lot of people talk about, yo, when they saw that, it was like, you know what I'm saying, like a monumental moment for them. Like, okay, you know what, we got somebody up there in New York representing for us saying, yo, we got something to say. So it gave motivation to a lot of MCs and groups down here in the South. You know what I'm saying? So if that doesn't happen, maybe ATL is not as aggressive as it is. You know what I'm saying? There's some joints on ATLs, like they really kicking some shit. And then Equimini comes after that, and they got Return of the G. They got Y'all Scared with Good Mob and all this, and their aggression is a little different. Big Boy always talking that street shit on the real. People kind of sleep on that because a lot of casuals only listen to Outkast singles and not Outkast album cuts. You know what I'm saying? So I think their approach to some of their songs, even Benz and Beamer and all that New Jersey Drive soundtrack, I think a lot of stuff might be a little different if that Source Awards, for example, would have got council killed and never happened. We talking about the trajectory of some things in the South might be different on some real.
Right. And I mean, Tone, I think you made a good point for people watching who may not know. Tone's from North Carolina, and he was talking about how people from the South, how that made them feel. Like, yo, you know, Rel, I'm sure it's how we felt when Beans was putting in work. You know what I mean? It was like, yo, there go Philly. You know what I mean? You finally feel like you can stick out your chest. And if that moment doesn't happen, do you still feel the same oomph? AG, what about you? What do you think Do you think anything shifts in hip hop if the Source Awards never happen?
Absolutely, man. This is a great one to kick us off with because in our hip hop lore, this is one of the biggest nights ever, period, in hip hop. So much went down, and I'm gonna approach it kind of like the biggest loser and the biggest winner of it all, kind of thing, because I think that, you know, East and West Coast were fighting for so much supremacy. Then it was almost like disregarding the South, like we're not even thinking about y'all, and so in that respect, I think that the East and West Coast were the biggest losers of this because that 95 Source Awards was very inflammatory as far as the East and West Coast beef. Like you said, Kill, some things might have still happened, but if you look at the Vibe cover story with Big and Puff on it, you look at the 95 Source Awards, certain instances along the way were very inflammatory to that East and West Coast, feud. But the biggest winner of it all, to like you and Tony pointed out, was Outkast, because they came from nobody was paying attention to the South like that, to the South got something to say. All of a sudden, a lot of people are checking for Outkast that wouldn't normally have checked for them before. And ATLians, like Tony was saying, that's my personal favorite Outkast album because it has a lot of East Coast boom bap flair to it. You know what I mean? So I think that they won over a lot of fans that night with that regard because, it was a lot of infighting between East and West. But, Andre's, he very nervously said what he said. But, he poked his chest out and he said it. And he put his stamp right then and there for the West and waved that flag. So I think that if that night doesn't happen, I don't think Outkast is as big as they are. And we potentially don't lose two of our giants, one from the East and one from the West Coast.
Good points. Pharrell, what you thinking, bro?
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Like, a lot of bad stuff came from that night, bro. Like a lot of that stuff bothered me, you know what I'm saying? Because even I got caught up into it. Like, not even being involved, but I was like, I'm on the East Coast. I'm like, fuck them niggas, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
we always talk about that. Like, it was like, I ain't listened to Pac I just heard All Eyes on Me maybe about 5 years ago. Cause I was like, yo, it's East Coast. Like, I don't want to hear shit none of them niggas over there got to say.
Right.
That's dedication.
And it's crazy. It's crazy because people that know me know Ice Cube is one of my favorites. I really liked MC8. We Come Strapped. I really love that album.
No doubt.
So, you know what I'm saying? Like, I liked the West Coast, but when that happened, it was like, I don't know. It was like, I'll be with my friends on the block, and we be in Philly, and we really was feeling like it was East versus West, and it got played up by that cover. It got played up by the media, and it was something that got really popular. But we lost two legends because of it. We had a lot of BS going on because of it. So if it doesn't happen, potentially, we probably it would have been some beef. I don't think it would have got like as crazy as it got. You know what I'm saying? That moment was just like monumental. Like, it was everywhere when it happened, and then it just
took from there. Yeah. JR, what about you? What you think?
I'm with y'all with the whole thing with the South because my dad was, he was the hip hop head, but he didn't really fuck with the South like that. So when he saw Andre go up there like that, he was like, who this nigga? Like, who is he? Like, you know what I'm saying? So then my dad was like, yo, let me check them out. And he became a fan of them. You know what I mean? So it was like when LT Aliens came out, he rocked with it. He wouldn't have never did if that didn't happen. You know what I mean? And then, like Rel said, the whole East Coast, West Coast, I'm like, y'all, you know what I mean? We was like, man, fuck the West. Like, we ain't fucking with them. Like, nah.
Well, let me explain to you how bad I was like, fuck the West. I'm talking NBA All-Star game. Fuck the West.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, dead ass. These ain't even rappers. Fuck anybody from over there.
Yes, the same thing in our house too. We was like, man, fuck the West. We don't fuck with them. Like, everything over here. You know what I'm saying? So obviously being a Knicks fan, but it's like, yo, like, nah, we ain't rocking with them. So could you imagine if none of that happened? Like where music will be? It's crazy, like to even think about that. So yeah, that South thing is the biggest part for me because it affected my musicality in my house because I started listening to Outkast. It was like he wasn't even rocking with them before it did a change. So yeah.
Right. Sean, what about you, fam?
So I agree with everything you guys are saying. You know, I was 15 when this happened. I remember watching this shit live. And I was like building up like a resentment towards the West Coast as if I wasn't just listening to Doggy Style and Cuban artists of all time, right? And it's crazy because I hear you, Kill. You said, yo, fuck the West. Nigga, I did 20 years in the Marine Corps. I did everything I could to stay from the West Coast. I did not want to get stationed on the West Coast. You know what I mean? Because I didn't want to go over there like, yo, it's hot right now. You know what I mean? Like this is a whole different. It's like you get like PTSD from hip hop because 15-year-old me, 3 years later, I'm in the Marine Corps. I'm like, yo, I don't want to go to the West Coast because I don't know what's going to happen over there. You know what I mean? Because of the Source Awards, right? But I do think that everything still would have played out because we had a collision course about to happen. You had the West Coast who was really running the game. We got to be honest about that. The West Coast was 95. The West Coast was the West Coast. You got Pop coming home soon. You got Death Row on top of everything. Ice Cube was Ice Cube at the end of the day. Ice Cube was still him. He was one of them. Nas was just coming up. You know what I mean? Big was still getting his feet up under him. He was becoming the people's champion New York, and he was helping bringing New York back. But again, it's bringing New York back. We were still trying to get out of that because we weren't selling records in New York. You know what I mean? West Coast was selling records. So they had the pole position. So now you got Outkast, who's having like a renaissance, if you will, for the South, because up north we thought the South was like on some booty music. We were thinking about do the Two Soul and you know all of those other the Butterfly. You know what I mean? We associated the Florida movement with all the South. You did? So now you got the Outkast album, Southern Playalistic, was like a renaissance for the South because it was showing that Southern rappers can actually rap. And they rap really good. And now they're coming, and you got the West Coast here, you got South here, you got the East Coast here on the Renaissance page as well. So everything had to collide at that time. It just so happened someone said it out loud. You know what I mean? Doug and Outkast and others said it out loud. So now we're at that collision course where everyone is saying the same thing. And it's funny.
Nah, makes sense. Makes sense.
Real quick, it's funny about Outkast because like being on the East Coast, like as classic as Southern Playalistic like music was, I didn't listen to it when it came out. Like I didn't. What got my attention honestly was Benz and Beamer, like because it had like a East Coast feel to it. So it was more digestible at that time for my ears only listening to, you feel what I'm saying? Like only listening to what I was listening to. Benz and the Beam, I'm like, ooh, okay. You know what I'm saying? And then it kind of opened my palette up to listen to them. You know what I'm saying?
You know, the other thing what Outkast did as well was when people really started checking for Outkast, it opened up the doors for people to start checking for 8-Ball MJG down here, who are lyrical beasts down here. You know what I'm saying? Then the UGKs and you know, even going back to some of the cats in Houston and stuff like that. Of course, Scarface had the Diary during that time because he was actually up for a award that night with the Diary, the same way Illmatic and Red or Die and everything else was. Scarface is a god down here. Even not, and you know, North Carolina, not the deep South, but it's Southern enough to respect Scarface the same way somebody, you know, in New York will respect Rakim or KRS-One. You know, so somebody will respect Cube and, you know what I'm saying, Snoop or whoever. So a lot of people who got into Outkast started getting into 8-Ball MJG, UGK, a lot of other cats down here who was popping down here. But you guys up north just didn't know yet. You know what I'm saying? But these guys were legends in the South already. You know what I'm saying? But stigmas was, to Sean's point, was a lot of people up north really thought the South was like 2 Live Crew. That's Florida. That's the deep. But you would think that it's Tootsie Roll, 69 Boys, and all that shit. And it's like, no, we got 8-Ball MJG.
That's exactly what I thought.
Like, so that was one of the things that the Source Awards helped open the South up because of Outkast.
Yeah, good point.
real quick, that's just fascinating to me to hear everybody's perspectives or whatever, because I was pretty much brought up regionless because, you know, I'm from West Virginia. So we listen to everything. So it wasn't any like bias going into listening to any music. Like I love East Coast, you know, Ice Cube was my favorite rapper. Ice Cube and Scarface both were my favorite rapper until I discovered who Nas was in '94. So that covers the South, the West, and the East Coast. You know what I mean? So it's always interesting to hear, you know, your guys' perspective, who were like, you know, so, you know, up north, East Coast, or so West Coast, or so down South, because, you know, we didn't really form any biases where I'm from. We listened to it all.
But AG, everybody, North Carolina just like West Virginia too. Let me preface that real quick. I ain't mean to cut you off, Kill. We're the same way. You know what I'm saying? Because North Carolina, we do love the South. We do love Scarface and all that. But we, in North Carolina, people love the West Coast and the East Coast. Like, Nas my favorite MC since Live at the Barbecue, bro. You know what I'm saying? Tribe Called Quest is my favorite group. You know what I'm saying? I'm 50 years old. You know what I'm saying? So I love New York, but I love Ice Cube. You know, I love NWA and Razzcast, all them cats. The Souls of Mischief got a lot of run in North Carolina, and when 93 and Philly came out, so we kind of like West Virginia too. You know what I'm saying? Like, we really love everything. We don't really have a sound per se, but we do recognize the South a lot.
Hey,
that's what's up.
Catch a question, Tone, real quick.
Yeah.
Because North Carolina, y'all have like some lyricists. Has it always been like that, or?
Yeah, bro. Always. People thought that the lyricists started with like Little Brother, because Little Brother's like the children of Tribe and Daylight and all that. Then Knife, you know what I'm saying, learn from Pete Rock and all this shit like that. But on the low, even back when I was in high school doing like little mixtapes and all that stuff like that, cats always rhymed in North Carolina. You know what I'm saying? Like really rhyme, not some P.D. Pablo shit, because everybody thought he was of North Carolina.
Right. Fun fact, real quick, Petey did a jail bid here in West Virginia.
Oh no, he a real cat now. Don't get it twisted. Like he a street dude. He just rapped the way Deep South cats rap. So some people thought North Carolina rappers was like Deep South rappers. When really, unless you're in rural North Carolina, most of the shit like Charlotte, Durham, Winston-Salem, where I'm from, all that stuff like that, cats rap like, you know what I'm saying, Nas and them to a degree.
Right. One thing too I want to say about the bias is also, folk got to understand in those days the radio was very one-sided, which is why the South and the West has so much of a problem, is because program directors wouldn't play their music. Right. So if we're listening to the radio, we're growing up in an era where that's all we listened to was the radio. We didn't have no social media. We didn't have nothing else. So if nothing was played on the radio, the only thing I knew about down South was them fucked up pen and pixel album covers that Master P and them used to have. That's the only thing I knew about, because they weren't getting played on the radio. You know what I mean? They eventually started showing videos, but again, you know, it's just about what you're given. You know what I mean? And a lot of times that's why the West Coast had beef with the East Coast. It wasn't really with the East, it was with the East radio station programs.
Bingo.
On some old, why won't you play our music?
Yeah.
That's what it was. And it just all got intertwined with the West don't fuck with the East. No, it was the West Coast rappers didn't fuck with the East Coast radio programmers. That's really what that was about in the beginning. You know, because it was just like, yo, give us some play. Hammer had a problem with New York because New York wouldn't play their music. He didn't have a problem with New York, the boroughs. Right. He had a problem with the radio not playing their music. You know what I mean? So that then just turned into, oh shit, Hammer don't like New York. And so a lot of this shit is almost on some wire shit. Like Slim Charles told Avon, if it's a lie, we fight on that lie. So a lot of this East Coast, West Coast shit really almost started from a lie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
These West Coast niggas don't fuck with East Coast niggas. Nah, these West Coast artists are just salty because they don't get no play over here. The West Coast had to play the East Coast. Down South had to play the East Coast. We didn't have to play the West Coast. You see what I'm saying? So that's the difference. So I can understand a nigga from the West being like, damn, we play y'all shit. Why don't y'all return the favor? Right. But again, it ain't the niggas in the streets, nigga. The request line ain't real. You know what I mean? Like, what's up?
And that's the reason why West Side Connection with Bow Down and shit was pissed off. Cause they like, yo, we got the #1 song in the fucking country, and the only state that won't play our shit is New York. Exactly. He was like, yo, I go to New York, Hot 97, or who was the big radio station at the time, won't pay our shit. We #1 with Bow Down and all this shit all over the country.
Right. So again, they didn't fuck with the radio programmers, but it just
Right,
expanded
right.
to, you know, Hammer. You know what you got to say about New York, Hammer. And then niggas in New York heard that shit, was like, oh, word, this nigga talking shit? This nigga with the Jerry curl popping shit? Oh, okay, bet, let's go. And then you get the back and forth with third base and Hammer. So you know what I mean? So it's a lot of intricacies that a lot of people, got to dig in the crates to really dig through where this whole thing starts from. But AG, what you got up first for your with hip hop what if, man?
All right, so this will probably be my most in detail joint. You know what I mean? Because it's a amalgamation of like a few different questions I had, but I didn't want to, use all of my questions up on one particular artist or whatever. So, Kill, in the comics, what if you might have a different alternate universe character, and something goes totally different for that character in that alternate universe, right? And when you was on our show, you said something that kind of inspired this thought. You was talking about Nas's bounce back game, like where he had particular pitfalls in his career, certain ups and downs, how he bounced back from those challenges, like really triumphantly, like every time. So for the idea of my first one, since Nas is my favorite MC, I started to think, like, what if we talk about an alternate universe Nas, certain things that happen in career retrospect, if this version of Nas that we have is in better GOAT standing in the GOAT debate than an alternate universe Nas with a certain career retrospective. So I'm gonna just go through a couple things, and you can tell me, like, would you want Nas as is, or if these certain things were to unfold and happen? So you kicked it off with the Source Awards. So I said in '95, Nas cleans up in the Source Awards and wins all the awards for that. So in turn, that doesn't lead to him going the route of getting the track masters for a more commercially appealing sound. He goes with his original idea, which was to get Marley to produce the whole sophomore record before Marley let the whole hood jump on the reel. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So Marley produces the sophomore album as intended. So no, it was written. It doesn't exist with the track masters. I Am comes out as the third album, but it's never leaked on the internet. And it's a classic, and it's as intended, classic 5 mic double album. So which in turn means Nostradamus doesn't exist. No Stillmatic as a quote unquote comeback album, from a downfall. No battle with Jay-Z potentially, and no lost tapes, because most of the lost tapes was comprised of the records that were on that I Am release. And then later in 2002, this version of Nas signs to Murder Inc., like he was going to. And then in 2005, he does do the Primo album, back when they did the Scratch Magazine cover 20 years ago when it was first wanted. And then this version of Nas is still married to Khalees, so we don't get Life is Good. And this version of Nas retires after the Nasir album with Kanye, which is a 5 mic classic in this universe. So no Hit Boy run exists. So this version of Nas, who is better in the GOAT standing? The Nas that we have in our 616 universe, or this other version of Nas?
Yeah, that's a very dope question, bro. I
Very
love
dope.
the concept of alternate universes for people watching. Marvel, DC, they all do it. I'm watching this thing now with Batman from an alternate universe. He was never rich. His parents never, got murdered or nothing like that. Like, he a regular dude. I think he like work at the docks or whatever. Like, but he still becomes Batman. So that's the alternative universe type mindset from a comic book head. I personally, as great as that Nas sounds, I'm gonna still go with the Nas that we got, man. I'm gonna still go with the Nas that we got. And just because I think it all sounds great, but I think there's something to be said about Nas's bounce back. Like, there's something to be said. I think what really one of the biggest things, even if the Nas and Primo album was 5 mics and all these albums was 5 mics, I think one of the biggest thing in Nas' career is taking out Jay-Z. Because everybody, myself included, thought it was a wrap. We all thought Nas was dead. You know what I mean? So to me, that eclipses if he did give us a Primo album in 2005, that was 5 mics because he did that. And then his 6 album Hit Boy run, that's never been done before. That's another thing that takes it up. So I think even with those kind of bumps and bruises, because I feel like real niggas give Nas a pass for Nostradamus because we know it leaked and we know all the backstories and that. So I'm gonna go with the first Nas. But what about you, Rel? What Nas you going with?
The Nas we got now, only because I mean it's the best. It's kind of like beauty in the struggle a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Damn,
you know what I mean? It's like the bounce
like
back
that.
make it even better. You know what I mean? Like, and certain things, like I think it was written as like aged the best out of all of his albums, and we don't get that. Like, I don't know, you know what I'm saying? Like, as classic as Illmatic is, I think it was written aged the best. And Nas is my favorite rapper, you know what I'm saying? So, and then this 6 album run, and then, you know, it makes you more, for me, it makes you more of a fan to see the struggles and then the bounce back. Like, if it was just like smooth and then he retired, I don't know. Like, we might, I don't know if we would be talking about him as much, you know what I'm saying? The Jay-Z battle was very important as well, you know what I'm saying? Because one thing, you know, about MCs I like is that they battle tested, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And which is why I like LL so much, you know what I'm saying? He battle tested. Nas showed that he can go toe to toe with, at the time, who was the best at the time. So yeah, I would go with the current Nas. As good as some of those things sound, cause like the I Am thing and Nostradamus, all that sounds very good. But him bouncing back from that, I think, makes up for it. So,
all right, no doubt. Sean, Queens get the money. What you got, bro?
Money. Current Nas. Because although that other version of Nas becomes flawless, I think that the struggle, the beauty is in that struggle that he had to go through, you know, from critics, from fans, from peers. You know, Nas was the one from day one. He was always the one, right? Like Tony said, live at the barbecue, we knew that guy was special. We knew that kid was special. And he had to go through that maturation process a couple times to get to where he is right now. And to Rel's point, you have to think about what Jay was doing. Jay was very methodical in his approach to take over the crown, straight up and down. You know, when Big and Pac, you know, departed us, Jay's mission was to be the number one dog. And he was taking it. He was taking it by force. And Nas,
it is mine.
Right. If Nas wasn't really fighting back, to be quite honest, because he was on some whatever. I'm a rapper. I don't care about the politics. I don't want to get into that. I don't care about who's best, because I think when Pac and Big passed away, I think Nas felt like there's no more competition for me. So he probably got a little bit complacent. And I think that complacency created that lane for Jay to really step up and did the things that he did for those summers that we needed someone to represent New York at a high clip. So Nas had to come back and take Jay down at Jay's highest point. And he was the only one that could have done that. No other rapper, he said what we want to say, but no other rapper could have done that to Jay in 2001, right? It was only him. And he had to do it by sunning Jay. Like, yo, I was here before you. I was amongst the pantheon of those guys, those heavyweights, when you weren't there yet. So he's the only one that could have done that to Jay at that time. And we needed that version of Nas because, again, it adds on to the lore, the I am lore. We need that I am lore because it's a big what if in hip hop history. Like, what if that would have come out?
We did a whole show on that, you know, Hip Hop Thugs.
And even Big talked about how special Nas was and the things that Nas was doing. Pac look at Nas as a threat. With Nas at one point. You know what I mean? So you need that version of Nas to get to where we are today, as opposed to a flawless effort of Nas.
Right. That's dope. Gerald, what you think, bro?
I agree with y'all, but I think also I like the Nas we got now because it showed the artistry in him as well. Because if we would have gotten Illmatic 2, he wouldn't grown. You know what I mean? As an artist,
thank you.
And you know what, Gerald? A point on that, the second album being Marley, we got to understand that '95 Marley Marl is not 1988 Marley Marl. Like the
true.
last time Marley Marl was really is really Mama Said Knock You Out, which was 1990.
Right.
You know, by that time, Marley Marl was having K-Def produce under him and doing a lot of his stuff. So a 1995 Marley Marl produced Nas album doesn't excite me at all. It wouldn't have excited me then. It doesn't sound appealing now. So yeah, I'm sorry, JR. Keep going, but
no, I agree. But I think just as that we want our artists, sometimes, yeah, they might do an album we don't like. Okay, cool. But at least they're growing as an artist. You don't want them to stay the same. We don't want all Illmatics all the time. You know what I mean? And I think eventually we would have got that if Nas would have won all the awards at the Swords and all of this. And I don't think he would have grown. And like y'all said, the struggle of it all. We wouldn't have gotten this 6-album run if it wasn't because of all of this. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is, to me, I like the artists we got now with Nas. So I'm with the current Nas for real.
So what you got, bro?
Man, first thing first, man. AG, this is awesome what you said, man. To present these thoughts, because you know, and everybody that know me know Nas my favorite MC also. You know what I'm saying? But the current Nas is the best version of Nas because, and JR will appreciate what I'm about to say. When we think about your Marvin Gaye's, you know, your Sam Cooks, those kind of guys, you know, Johnny Cash even, they had complex lives which came and made the artistry even better. Nas going through those peaks and valleys made Life Is Good was like Marvin Gaye's Here My Dear. You know, so that's necessary. It showed the growth. Life Is Good was grown Nas compared to the younger hip Nas with the Timbs and the waves. He was a grown man on the album cover, finally coming to his own to the next phase of his life. You got to have Life Is Good. You know what I'm saying? So now to the Jay-Z part, man, the Jay-Z battle was monumental and probably still, and I know the biggest battle because social media is Drake and Kendrick, but in the essence of hip hop, Nas and Jay-Z is the biggest battle in hip hop because it wasn't 1 or 2 songs, it wasn't 3 or 4 songs. It was freestyles and other tracks. It was probably 10 tracks each damn near where they was kind of reference each other on the low. You know what I'm saying? So it was so important to hip hop and to take down a titan like Jay-Z at the time. To fan point, nobody could have taken Jay-Z down but Nas because Jay-Z used to be a fan of Nas.
Right.
So seeing them and say, well, glad to break bread with the God. And it's that famous picture of them back in like 96, 97 sitting in that bar together, whatever. You know what I'm saying? So, but just Nas, the Hit Boy run also showed Nas at this peak at his age doing multiple type of songs. Hit Boy got the best out of Nas. And I know a lot of people was upset because it wasn't Pete Rock, RZA, Q-Tip, all that. No. Hit Boy was perfect for Nas to bring him to the new millennium, putting him on songs with people unconventional, all of these things like that, man. So this version of Nas, man, really is the golden child coming full circle.
Right. And I think it's beautiful that everybody agreed. You know what I mean? It was just like everybody agreed with this version. But I think sometimes to highlight what you have, you got to look at alternatives. You know what I mean? So I think, you know.
No,
so
I
think
the Lost Tapes was even though I Am got leaked, Napster got us all nice with Nas, like 13 songs back then. And I remember I still got the album down in my basement, that little promo joint with 13 songs. I couldn't believe it. That shit leaked, man. Hurt my heart, bro. You know what I'm saying? But we think about during the time of Stillmatic, Nas on fire so much, it's like, let's drop the Lost Tapes then. You know what I'm saying? So when you look at the Lost Tapes now, man, like, as much as I would have loved to hear that original I Am, I love that Lost Tapes, bro.
That's true. It's special.
Yeah. And again, one of the things, that 6-album run, this Rubik's Cube says it all right there.
Look at that.
You know what I mean? Like this 6-album
Where you get that from, bro?
Was it Masta Pill, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think Masta Pill on Get On Down had these joints.
Kill be getting all the dope stuff, man.
No, I told you, it's this hip hop museum over here, bro. It's a fucking hip hop museum in here. Here's the wild part. I had to buy 2 of these because I brought one and I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna do the Rubik's Cube. And I couldn't get the shit back. And it looks stupid as shit if it ain't like this. So then I had to go buy another one and just leave it alone. But yeah, so bro, what you got up next for yours, bro?
All right, for mine. By the way, AG, that was really good.
Yes.
That was good.
Appreciate it.
Mine, this artist's whole career is a what if. So, what if we're in 2009, Electronica
Oh boy.
puts out an album after Exhibit C? What happens?
I like
That's
that
a question.
Just Blaze producing
that-
on it.
I love it.
There you go. That's just what I need to know. That's what I
Just
need
Blaze
to know.
Facts, facts, Kill. Facts.
And Just Blaze producing at the height of, because Exhibit C, he was here, like he was up there. He takes advantage of that hype and puts out an album produced by Just Blaze. What do you guys think happens?
Man, I mean, I think his lore is now deserved. Because I will say this, because I know a lot of people who have Jay Elect as one of the GOAT MCs ever, and I'm like, yo, really, truth be told, you nigga really don't even have an album out. You know, the joint he put out with Jay really wasn't even a Jay Elect album, if anything. So I think if he puts out that album after Exhibit C with Just Blaze producing the whole album, it's a 5 mic classic. And I mean, I think I'm very big on deserve. You know what I mean? And I think the love that we give Jay Elect is off of one song. Like, you know what I mean? And I'm just not from an era where you just become that guy off of one song. And Exhibit C was that great. It was that great. You know what I mean? I know some people say like Exhibit A better, whatever. It's Exhibit C that had the world. And I remember it's like December 2009. This is how long ago Exhibit C was. You know what I mean? So to just short and simple, I think if he does drop the album with Just Blaze, it's a 5 mic classic. And, you know, I still won't say he deserves to be mentioned, but I think a lot of the lore that we get is somewhat deserved. AG, what you think?
Yeah, I agree with everything you say, Kill, but I'm gonna take a different approach. I'm gonna go to the Just Blaze of it all, right? I think Jay Electronica, of course, is cemented, but Just Blaze, I love Just Blaze, but I had to take him out of my top 10 producers of all time because he doesn't have that album that you can point to that says, okay, this is an album that he produced that's a classic from front to back. He excels as a placement producer where he has like, a few joints on, on your record. Like I think Philadelphia Freeway was the closest he came to doing that. He had like 75% of the record was produced by him. And, but I had to take him out because he didn't have that front to back album that he could say, I did this whole classic. So I think if that does happen, Rail, that Just Blaze like puts his stamp in the, conversation for top 10 hip hop producers of all time if he has that album under his belt.
AG, I agree with you 100%. What keeps Just out of my top 10 is he never produced an album front to back.
Yeah, you
He
said
did Saigon, right? So
Nah, he didn't. Saigon got like 18. Saigon, he did about 12.
Okay.
Now,
Gotcha.
here's the thing. To be honest, if the Saigon album should have stopped at 12, and that shit would have been a 5 mic album to me.
I agree.
It's some other sticks that fucked it up. That started to bring it down some. But no, that's it. Because I have to be in my top 10. I'm from the era where if you are the Pete's, the Primos, the Dillas, the Large
RZA,
Professors,
yeah.
the RZAs, they produce. That's a criteria. You can't go to fucking humanities if you ain't take English 101 first. So to me, that keeps Just Blaze out of my top 10. And I've had mad niggas who love what about Philly Freeway? Like you said, that's 80%, my nigga. That's not 100. Nigga, I'm not a great math dude, but I do know 80 is not the fuck 100. So it doesn't matter if he did 17 out of 20. Well, nigga, I'm still not that smart, but I'm not gonna say that's 100. So yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly. Yeah, that would change things too for Just. That would really, great point, AG. That would. I take it off.
My fault.
No, you got bro.
Okay. It says something to be able to produce a whole album front to back as one producer, meaning how this album is sequenced, the variety of beats and music that's on the album. You feel what I'm saying? It takes like that. I agree with y'all. If you don't have that, you can't be in the top 10 because it's not easy to do that. Like produce a whole album, an artist's album by yourself as the only producer for that. You know what I'm saying? It's easy to get somebody some fire and then get it placed within other, you know what I'm saying? That's a little easier than a full album, because I'm glad you brought up Philadelphia Freeway, because I remember I thought that he did the whole thing, but he didn't. He did a majority of it, but
he did a both.
He did
Not the
about
whole thing, because that album is crazy to me.
It
So
was fire.
yeah,
And I do want to say this too, for people watching who may not understand why, is that I won't even do this. There was a producer who would always produce like 1 or 2 tracks on an album, and I used to get mad, like, damn, why don't they give boy opportunity to do more? Then he did a whole album, and the shit wasn't good, and I was like, oh, that's why he only does 2 or 3 here and there, because everybody is not built to produce a whole entire album for somebody. I call them hitmen for hire. That's sometimes what you just need. You just need a nigga who's gonna come in, give you 2 hardcore joints, and then go on to that. So great point, AG, with that. JR, what about you? What if JLX comes out with an album? What you got?
I'm listening to y'all. That this is a spot that I'm like, I'm not too sure. You know what I mean? So I'm just listening.
All right, Sean, what about you?
I think about 2009, fellas. Remember 2009, hip hop was changing. We were getting close into that Drake era of hip hop. Music, the sound, the quality was changing. Music was coming more of a blend of hip hop, and it was becoming more segmented. I think that Electronica coming out in 2009 would have been a man at a time. Exhibit C was iconic. It standing alone by itself. It was a major push by itself. But it's like, put like this. It's like putting Killer Priest in 2009, because Killer Priest and JLX are very similar, right? So you put Killer Priest in 2009, he's still one of the dopest MCs. Smoke anybody with a mic, but does he fit the aesthetic of 2009? Because even Blueprint 3 was in 2009 with Jay. You know what I mean? Blueprint 3 didn't sound like a Jay-esque type album. It was more of a blended album. It was more of that Blueprint 3 could have easily been a Jay album or even a J. Cole album. If you really think about the aesthetic sound in the palette.
It was all Kanye, really.
It was all Kanye. So you put in Jay Electronica in 2009, I think you'll be out of time, because Just Blaze Beats would have already kind of subsided at that time. He's already hit his zenith. Just Blaze has already hit his zenith before we got to 2009. You see what I'm saying? So now that drop, I think that would have hurt his legacy if he would have dropped that album in 2009. I would have preferred a Jay Electronica mixtape. I would have preferred a mixtape from Jay Electronica in 09 as opposed to a full-fledged album.
True. So, what you got, bro?
Jay Electronica, man, it's fun. What Sean said is funny, because I said years ago, people got mad at me on tour. I said, look, man, y'all acting like y'all heard something new with Jay Electronica, but I was a fan of Killer Priest, Heavy Mental. You know what I'm saying? All that shit.
Oh my goodness, what are you talking about?
I was following him. I was following him after I heard Bible on the last track on Liquid Swords. You know what I'm saying? So, so some of the stuff that Jay Electronica was wowing everybody with, I'm like, well, it's just a different version of what I heard with Killer Priest. Killer Priest has several albums, dog, and he can get deep. I had that joint, The Saints with Nas and all this shit like that. Like, yo, he had joints like that. So it's not, when I heard Jay Electronica, it wasn't like I'm hearing something all the way brand new. He's kind of like a more advanced version kind of Killer Priest. Now, he did have some dope mixtape joints that goes to Christopher Wallace, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. That prayer for Mike Vick and T.I. and all this shit like that. So he had joints, and I thought that he could, to Kill Point, a dope album or mixtape at that time, he would get the props that I think he deserved, instead of getting some props that kind of overblown. Because don't get me wrong, Exhibit C was special. It stopped hip hop for a moment. Q-Tip, Tribe, Puff, Nas, Jay, all these people co-sign like, yo, this is the next coming. This dude is the next one. You know what I'm saying? Because we didn't get there with Most Def, and I'm going to get in that in a few minutes. So he had a chance to really be something special to me. But I don't know how much Jay Electronica love hip-hop. You know,
right.
I mean, at the end of the day, he's a cat that can ball, but don't practice. He just can rap. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how to love that shit. So, yeah, it could have been big at that moment, but we'll never know, because it just didn't happen that way, man.
Yeah. So, and I love what you said about just kind of being past his prime. You know what I mean? I think, and I when you said that, it made me think about Large Professor's album, The LP, and why Geffen ended up shelving that in 96 because the sound of music in 97, it just didn't fit. It was like, what are we going to do with this heavy SP 1200 sound or whatever like that? I think the only difference may have been is since we were in 2010, we were away from record labels. You know what I mean? So it may have still would have had a place, but I understand 100% what you're saying, that the sound of the music was changing. Like I said, when you said that, I thought a large pro, but I think not the only, but one of the pros that come with, because it's pros and cons to everything. One of the pros with the internet is now a label doesn't have to figure out what we're going to do with this.
Absolutely.
You know, because if JLEC would have dropped, if Exhibit C comes out in December 2009, if March of 2010 he drops an album, I think it'll be fine. Now, will it be on the radio? Will it be getting video plays? Probably not. But because we have the internet now, we don't have to be dependent on the radio anymore to give us what we want to hear. But that's a very, very dope point with that too. JR, what you got up for your first one, bro?
Well, I ain't gonna be all R&B, y'all. But what if D'Angelo's Brown?
Can you not take us back to? Can you not take us back?
No. Mine is 90s and up. It's 90s and up.
This nigga gonna be like, what if Otis Redding did not? I'm like, nigga, I don't know Otis like you, bro.
I'm not doing that to y'all. But no, what if
D'Angelo's
Brown Sugar didn't hit? And how music would have been, because we wouldn't have gotten the run of that neo soul era. And we wouldn't have gotten Erykah. We wouldn't have gotten Jill. We wouldn't have got music. We wouldn't have got all of this. We wouldn't have got voodoo. What would have been? You know what I'm saying? If we didn't get that.
Man, if I think it's everything you just said, bro. Because I think D'Angelo's what broke the mold to me. You know what I mean? To me, I always tell people before D'Angelo, R&B to me was just slow jams for when a shorty came over for my 90 minutes and Timbaland mixtapes. Like that was it. It literally was like, that's it. But when I heard D'Angelo, and it's like, oh, this nigga talking about weed. Hold up, this nigga girl cheated on him with his man. And he killed them both. Like I'm like, oh, this is my kind of nigga right here. Like, and I think he opened up that door for hip hop to kind of fucking love it. So I mean, I think it's everything I think the whole game changes. You know, that whole neo. Well, I'll say this, and I'll leave this up to you. I don't know if, okay, you just said if D'Angelo doesn't hit. I don't know if then does Maxwell, if Maxwell's Embria hits, and not Embria, I apologize.
Urban Haynes Suite.
Urban Haynes Suite. If that drops, does that at least keep the momentum going? Or do you believe that Erykah and all of them are really built off of D'Angelo versus Maxwell?
Oh, yeah. I feel like Erykah is built from the D'Angelo.
From the D'Angelo house.
As far as that. You know what I mean? So, I mean, because even though Kedar was a part of all of that, it was like Maxwell album does not sound nothing like D'Angelo's at all. You know what I mean? That's more of a Marvin vibe. You know what I'm saying? So it would have been it would have kind of kept R&B the way it was. You know what I'm saying? So for me,
but it would have been the neo soul.
Like it would have been just. It would have just been like, all right, this sounds like Marvin is giving us that. So it would have kept your slow jams rocking. You know what I mean? So that's how
well, yeah, I agree with everything you just said. If Brown Sugar doesn't hit, then all the people you name, I don't think we get any of that. AG, what you think?
I'm gonna keep it short. I agree, but I disagree. What I disagree with, I think that Erykah and Jill still, break through. But for the ladies, the thing with D'Angelo, he gave us fellas a certain kind of talk, you know what I mean, around that time. So we needed D'Angelo to break through like badly at that time, you know what I mean, to give R&B and the neo soul like a different kind of look. But I still think the ladies still break through with neo soul with Erykah, Jill Scott, all of them. I still think they, make their mark.
All right, Rel, what you think?
Yo, man, I don't know, man, because when I heard D'Angelo, for me it was something like kind of like what Kid was saying. It wasn't what I was used to hearing at R&B. You know what I'm saying? Like I was ballads and stuff like that. This was something when shit, damn, motherfucker. Like I'm like,
yes,
different. You know what I'm saying?
Yo,
Like,
bro, my man Cool DJ Frank called me like, nigga, this nigga got a fucking song about killing his wife and his man for cheating. I'm like, oh shit, let me come over your crib and hear this. Like, you know what I mean? This nigga is singing about weed. This nigga got the Low USA on in the cruising video at the roads. Like, nigga got cornrows. Like, okay. You know,
So-
I felt like have the beam. This my kind of nigga. This like my kind of nigga.
That's my
right.
shit.
So JR, was there anything similar at the time?
Well, I was gonna go back to AG about the females, because you got to think before then you had Michelle that came out with Plantation Lilies, right? And then you had Joe that what's her name? Joe that came out with
You talking about Joy?
Yes, what's the record?
Joy.
Something Vibe. Gosh.
I know what you're talking about. Joy
Yes,
out who
it
was
came out in
fucking with Get
94.
from Goody Mob.
So,
Right.
To be honest with you, the females were rocking, but they didn't pull through.
That's true.
Right.
They didn't.
Yeah,
Nothing
true.
happened.
No,
And I
no
think
mainstream breakthrough, right? Is what you're saying.
Right.
I got you.
And
Yeah.
I think with D'Angelo, that mixed in with the Roots, because Erica said when she signed the Kedar, the first thing she said was, I need a bus ticket to Philly to go
Right.
fuck with the Roots.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And
So
then Kedar,
that
Kedar needed her for, that's why she was in the Lady remix video. So we got to see who she was. So it was like, oh, that's her. Okay, this is the girl that's been kind of getting a little buzz. You know what I'm saying? So it was like D'Angelo kind of was needed. You know what I mean? Because it was like, I would have wanted Erica to go through for real. Baduism and shit. But
Yeah, because that video, to your point, JR, that lady video was pretty much the One More Chance video for R&B.
word, because Faith was in it, and
Yeah, so a lot of those, the younger R&B songstresses, they broke through simultaneously as that video was put out. So yeah, I agree. Yep.
Sean, what about you, bro?
Man, first of all, AG told me that JR was the R&B guy. Like, he challenged me earlier today. I'm in the gym doing squats, and he's challenged me about some R&B stuff. Right? So I appreciate this out the gate, JR. I'm gonna challenge your R&B title tonight. So I think that D'Angelo started the neo soul renaissance. You think about 95, right? Music was, again, I always go back to the aesthetic of music of a year, of an era. And music was starting to transition a little bit in 95. And if you don't get Brown Sugar in 95, I don't think you get the boldness of the neo soul of music, because now you're talking about the Maxwells, you're talking about the Jill Scotts, you're talking about all of these great neo soul artists that came off of that, because he did it in a certain way that it was very seamlessly, right? It was very seamless. It didn't feel like it was neo soul, because I don't think we defined it that way in real time. I think we defined it as that album started to grow on you and those songs started to grow on you, because it was more of a laid back mellow. It had a little bit of that Prince feel in it, but it wasn't full blown Prince. It was more of like, yo, this is a whole different genre that we have to identify, because it also had like a little bit of hip hop element in it. And it wasn't something that we could like really identify. It was a smooth, like nice pot of gumbo, if you will, of music that was different for us. The way he was saying it, he's not a crooner. D'Angelo was never a crooner. He was saying some real shit that you had to be like, yo, that's an OG talking right there. That's someone who got like a cigarette in his mouth and just telling you some real shit. That's right. It kind of hit you a different way. It didn't hit you in the way of, I want to go make some love right now. You know what I mean? Or I want to get nasty. I'm 95. I want to get nasty. I'm managed in 95. So it didn't give me that managed feel. It gave me that feel like I want to learn more. I want to understand what this guy's talking about and why is he talking about it in this manner. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's what that gave me. So I do think that it opened the door for the boldness of neo soul.
Yeah. Right. Tone, what about you? What you think?
I stepped away just briefly. What was the exact question? I want to make sure I understand the context.
What if Brown Sugar wouldn't have hit? What would have made?
Then I agree with everything Sean just said. Then, because that was a moment right there. Like, I think that was the breaking point where, like you said, if that doesn't happen, you might not get a lot of art. You might not get that Chico the Bars, Long Time No See and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people might not release those kind of albums. Like D'Angelo was bold, like kind of like a warrior. You know what I'm saying? Like he stepped out there, like it had the hip hop feel, the smooth feel at the same time, rugged. Even had the remix with Lady with AZ on it. So that's the hip hop element still. It's kind of like Jodeci and Raekwon them joint. You know what I mean? So it had that kind of feel to it, man. Like he kind of really did spearhead something that just went crazy after that, man. And without Brown Sugar, we might have had to wait a couple more years before a big movement, which we didn't really name it at that time. I mean, a couple of years later, we started saying, okay, it's neo soul. But at the moment, I don't remember calling the shit neo soul when Brown Sugar came out.
Hell no, no.
But I do think that, that album was monumental. Every era has an album like that kind of spearhead a sound and a movement, and that was definitely D'Angelo, man, for sure. It was necessary.
And I think too, on the other piece too, even with how that lines up with the roots going into the whole Soulquarians system too. You know what I mean? It ties into that. You know, it ties into all those things. You know, of that whole Soulquarian, Bilal, Talib, Black Star. You know, that whole movement.
Jay Dilla,
that they turned Electric Lady Studios into. You know, and when you think about it, when you talk to the Quest, you're gonna hear the same names. You're gonna hear the Dillas. You're gonna hear the D'Angelos. Like they're the head of that movement. You know, I never forget when Dilla died. I think Madlib was like, "What we supposed to do now? Like, who are we looking to you know?" So without a D'Angelo, it's like, who are you, you know, looking to? Who's moving the needle? Or who's doing that? Great one, JR. Sean, what you got up for your first one, bro?
Yo, my first one is near and dear to my heart. I'm a huge Wu-Tang fan. All right, so I'm always thinking about what if we never got the two flood?
Yeah.
And I posted on social a few weeks ago by RZA, right? The pocket that RZA was in 95 was crazy. You got Cuban Link, you got Liquid Swords, you got Return to the 36, and it was supposed to drop Deck's first album in 95 as well. So he was going to release 4 albums in 95. Tikal was impacted by the flood, and then that was the first flood. So you got Tikal impacted in 94 with the first flood. Meth had to re-record everything on the road while they were still going for Into the Wu-Tang, right? Then it got impacted again because now you got Deck's album that was impacted, right? And we know what Deck can do on the mic. But then a lot of people don't know that it also impacted the Iron Man album from Ghostface. Like what we got from Ghostface, and Ghostface is Nas is 1A, Ghost is 1B for me. That's just me. But Ghostface Iron Man was also impacted by the second flood. But we still got the Iron Man album.
That's crazy. That joint is crazy.
Crazy, Tony. So think about this. We only got one true album out of that run that wasn't impacted, and that was Raekwon and Cuban Link. And that's because they went to Miami to record majority of the album. But two floods destroyed a lot of RZA. RZA had 500 beats, and he had it curated for the Clan to come out for their first run. So that's mine. What if he never got it?
Here's the thing. I think here's the crazy part. I know people who have RZA as the GOAT anyway. You know what I mean? With the floods. I think RZA without the floods, he's definitely in that GOAT conversation, if not the GOAT, because of everything that happens. Meth finally gets the classic album that's always been, at least my knock against Meth, is he don't got no classic album. You know what I mean? Great MC, top 5, maybe top 1 to give you a 16-bar verse. If we just talking about who's the top 5 MCs to give you a guest verse, Meth is definitely top 3. You know, so I mean, I think it changes a lot. It solidifies everything the Wu is. I know people who say Wu-Tang's the best group ever, as is. You know what I mean? I think that just cements it that much more. RZA's already some people to go producer. It just cements that much. It makes Meth career look better. It makes Deck's career totally change. So I mean, I don't know if it changed the trajectory of hip hop. I think it just cements them. It just leaves less room to argue about it. You know what I mean? Like it almost kind of takes away but Meth don't got no album. And what happened to that? Although you can't say that anymore. So it's almost like, yeah, AG, what about, oh, you know what, let me come around because I don't want to leave the same people. So what you think about that?
Well, first, let me say this too. Mine was, it coincides with this one is, what if Takal got 5 mics? So, you know, looking at RZA and the Flood, what I think it does, for one, it gives Meth 5 mics. And now his career, and people talking about Meth in the same vein as Biggie and Nas and all them at the time, because Meth was one of those few people like Nas who had the entire package. He could rhyme, he had the look, the dudes respected him, the chicks liked him, he had the total package. So what Meth could have been, I mean, he's a legend now, of course. He did what he did in his career, amazing career. But just on the MC level, people be looking at him, I think, higher in that top when you ranking MCs and all that. Sometimes we leave Meth out because he doesn't have that memorable out. He doesn't have an Illmatic or Ready to Die and all this kind of shit like that. But for the Wu-Tang, RZA having them all his beats, I think what it does is not only does it make those some of those solo albums even better in the 90s, but these future Wu-Tang albums, after Forever, you know what I'm saying? I think you get some of those beats that he had in the cut and make some of Wu-Tang's group albums better, because my knock on the Wu, and they legendary, iconic, we know all that. For me, I love Forever. I think Forever is fantastic. I was in the line. I was in the midnight sales line 97, my senior in college, waiting an hour to get that shit. And I pay Bells of War right now like every week. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's a classic. Love Forever. But after Forever, when I think about the W, Iron Flag, and all Better Tomorrow and all that shit, the production wasn't dope. You know what I'm saying? Some of the songs were good, but if RZA had all of his beats from the 90s, Wu-Tang might have like 3 or 4 classic group albums, and we missed out on that because I think he lost so much. He tried to be real creative at some point doing Forever and after Forever, and the Wu just kind of lost they feel, and thank God that Ghostface had Supreme Clientele and Fishkill and all this shit to kind of save the Wu until Ray did the Cuban Links 2 and all that. But yeah, man, it changed the Wu-Tang's legacy to me. Just takes up one more notch if he has all his production.
Here's the thing I'll say about that, Tone. I don't know if after Forever, because from watching the series, it seemed like RZA wanted to move away from sampling anyway, just from being sued and stuff like that. So I don't know if those beats, even if he still had them, he may have just been, because I felt like Dre kind of did the same thing too after Doggy Style. Like, I'm tired of getting sued all the time. So that's why he started bringing in Mailman and Scotch Storage and other people to start recreating samples. But I definitely feel you. JR, what you think if the floods never happened?
I was going to agree with Tone. I was thinking that Method Man would have finally got a 5 mic classic for real. You know what I mean? So I think that, and I think that just killed RZA. You know what I'm saying? As a producer, you had all of that and you lost it. Like,
here's the thing about this. From a producer standpoint, it not only killed them, I don't know how he kept going. Because if you tell me I have a flood, I have 2 floods, one came from the ground and then one came from the apartment, I may give up. I literally may be like, you know what, God, it ain't in the cards for me. Thankfully, I've only had to, in all my years, had to try to recreate one beat. It's the worst shit ever. Because when you're making a beat, it's not just as simple as like making macaroni and cheese. It's not just following a recipe. When you're making a beat, it's the feeling that you're in right now. The way you program the drums today may not be the way you program the drums tomorrow. So it's not, I know some people at home are just like, well, just you know the records you use, just make it again. It don't feel the same. It don't. So I've lost one beat and felt defeated. So to lose hundreds, nigga, I commend the nigga for being able to even want to turn on the ASR 10 again. That may be enough to just make me be like, you know what? I'm gonna just go over here and do this Kill Bill shit over here. Fuck y'all, you know, Deuces, True Master, rest of y'all niggas, 9th, 8th Disciple, 5th Disciple, all y'all niggas got it. I'm gonna fall back. I'm done. That's enough for me to be like, I'm gonna just leave it to y'all niggas, you know. So, but yeah, y'all, that's a great point. Yeah, it's hard, y'all. It literally will be like an MC losing his rhyme book. You know what I mean? Like, and all those rhymes you just wrote, like, they just gone. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Rel, what about you? What do you think with the flood?
Yeah, I agree with what everybody was saying. watching the show, I felt so bad for Deck, man. Like, it was like, I just felt bad because like everybody know what Deck capable of. Like he was killing shit, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like setting off songs crazy, features crazy, and then he never got the proper, you know what I'm saying, the proper album. And then I know that with Meth, like I was disappointed in Cal, you know what I'm saying? So like he had so much buzz around him and the talent and everything, and I just think if Cal was affected by the flood, am I correct?
Yes, the first one.
Yeah, so like I think he didn't get like that album didn't showcase what Meth really is as an artist, I think, or what he could have been. You know what I'm saying? Like he get on everybody join and kill it, but he don't have a classic album. You know what I'm saying? And it's like unfortunate, man. Like, but I agree with you, Kill. I don't know how he kept going. Like that's one of them things. Like, you know what? Twice, this is a sign. I'm done. Yeah, I'm like this for me. You know what I'm saying? So for him to keep going was commendable, but it's just unfortunate, man, because all that talent, you know what I'm saying? And like you hear Cuban Links and you like, it's one of the greatest albums ever created, hip hop wise to me. So you like, and not everybody got that opportunity. So
can I ask you about this? That's a good point. I don't want to go down the rabbit hole, so I apologize. Do we think, are we saying to Cali in hindsight being 2020 that it didn't measure up to the other joints that came after it? Or we feel that way in real time? Because I remember in real time, I was like on some like, yo, this album is crazy. It was dark. It was dark. It was dingy. And I told AG earlier, I was listening to Cal in the gym today. I'm like, yo, that was still going crazy on here. Punchlines were there, the rhymes were there, but we wanted more from them. Because
hey Sean, I think you and I probably like Cal more than most people. I mean, I was in college when they came out. And I ain't gonna front. When I heard Cal, it was dark and nasty, and I love PLO style. What the Blood Clot, Milk versus Shelf. You know, I got my thing in action and all this shit like that. Like I thought it was very dope at the time. I think it even got 4.5 mics in the source. But once you heard how clean and beautiful Cuban Link, first of all, Cuban Links is potentially a top 3 or 4 hip hop album ever. You know what I'm saying? Some people, then you got Liquid Swords is this amazing dark album, and Iron Man and Return. Even the production of Return of 36 Chambers is crazy. So RZA so polished in '95. I guess Cal probably sound really dated to a lot of people, but I liked it for what it was at the time. But I know a lot of people around me didn't like it as much as I did.
Bro, what you gonna say?
Yeah, to be honest, when it came out, I was disappointed, yo. I ain't gonna lie. Like, wow. I really was. Like, it wasn't trash or nothing, but that's a certain thing about expectations, man. Expectations could be a dangerous thing. Like, my expectations were so high, and I just feel it didn't meet it. And I'm glad you brought up Liquid Swords, because Liquid Swords was dark as well, but it was way better than Cal to me. Like, it just didn't do it for me. You know what I'm saying? I know I was around people that really liked it and people that didn't. Like, it's like a real argument about that album. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
I'll say this. What, Cal dropped in '94, so I'm 20. I don't know anybody who liked that album when it dropped in real time. Really? So like even before, like, we don't even gotta go past and go back and say I heard Cuban Links. That's not a good. I don't know anybody. Everybody, and again, what I've learned on Twitter is all I could do is talk for the niggas who was at Morgan State University. Right. You know what I mean? That's it. So New York niggas, Jersey niggas. I'm hosting Strictly Hip Hop, which is like the Stretch and Bob Beetle radio show for the DMV. No, and again, it's exactly like Ross said. Not that it was trash. I'll probably give Cal a good 3.5. But the expectations was, this is Meth. So Meth was that nigga since I was in high school when Method Man dropped. So even when we heard Protect Your Neck and Method Man, he was supposed to be the next one. When Jay talks about who's the best MC, Biggie, Jay-Z, and Nas, nigga, your name was not in that conversation. It was supposed to be Meth. It was supposed to be Meth's name in that conversation. Yeah. So I think what's happened over time is that if anything has happened is people try to act like Cal was trash. That's not what anybody thought in real time. I don't know anybody who was like, oh man, that shit trash. It just didn't measure up to the expectations the way Nas came through with Omatic, Biggie came through with Ready to Die, Snoop came through with Doggy Style. So when you see all these other number one draft picks, not only, you know, being drafted number one and then performing. That was the thing with LeBron. Everybody loves him, but what is he going to do when he gets to the league? And he got to the league and LeBron did what LeBron did.
Yep.
It's almost just like he was like a Steve Francis. Steve Francis should have probably been a number one pick over Michael Olawokandi. And Steve had a solid career. You know, he didn't become the all-star that we thought, because here was going to be the other question I asked was, just because the beats were fire, does that automatically mean that Meth gets the 5 mic album? Because my thing about Meth is to me, Meth has never really shown me. I don't know if Meth can hold down 12 songs with 3 verses for 12 songs. Meth to me is a very good off the bench rapper. That's what I call him. He's an off the bench rapper. He's not your starter. Your starter is going to be here every night. Like I said, if you need Meth to come in and drop you a 16, get that nigga the chip right now. He wins. He wins. He's like Vinnie Johnson. I know it's old for a lot of niggas. It's Vinnie Microwave Johnson. Used to be with the Detroit Pistons. That nigga would come off the bench. That nigga was microwave for a reason. That nigga dropped 20 on you in 10 minutes. Quick. 10 minutes. That's what that to me is what Meth. It's not a diss on Meth, because it's the same way I said about that producer. Not every producer is gonna, but I don't know if Meth has a warning. When we think about Biggie's rhyme scheme, does Meth have a warning? Does Method have a rewind like Nas? So I think we want to put Meth next to these people, but then we have to ask ourselves, does Meth have any songs that are on the same level as a Warning or Unbelievable or a fucking It Ain't Hard to Tell or I Gave You Power or Where I'm From? Does Meth have anything that's on those same levels as those MCs? And if not, he can't be on that level. Like, you know what I mean? You got to be invited to the party sometimes. And sometimes there's have to be a criteria to the party. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I mean, like how Rel said about J-Elect. And I love how AG came in and said, well, I'm going to look at Just Blaze. Well, just because Meth gets fire RZA beats, I don't know if that means that he gives us a 5 mic classic.
Can I speak to that?
Yeah, you got it, AG.
Yeah, so I got 3 quick points. I'll try to be quick as possible. So to what you're saying, Kill, I actually was thinking about that. If he does get to keep the beats from the flood, if the flood never happens, me and Sean had a conversation earlier today when we was talking about Takal. I think that the part that Takal lacked, and we talked about this on the Marvel show. I don't know if you remember, Kill, but I was talking about when Marvel movies figured out the formula to when they have the solo movies put other characters in alongside of them as features. That's when they started hitting the movies out of the park. If you look at Takal, it's the first of the Wu run, and it has the least amount of features from other Wu members compared to Dirty's, Jizzas, and Raekwon's and Ghosts. You know what I mean? And that might be because of the flood, because if a lot of those original tracks were lost in the first flood, and if he's recording on the road while touring, everybody is they're trying to do their separate things or whatever, so they might not have time to tap in with Meth. So if you add other clan members' voices to that album, I think we have a totally different opinion of it. So that's one. Even if we have the beats, I think the features help the situation. So and I like your Biddy Johnson analogy, because I was thinking in my head, Deck is my favorite out of the clan, period. It always has been. I look at him, and probably most people look at him like a Jamal Crawford. You know what I'm saying? Like, good team player, good soldier, 6th man of the year. He gonna give you fire bars. But what you were saying about Meth, I think a lot of people view Deck like that. He's not a starter, but he will give you top tier, buckets or whatever. But if he gets to drop that album at 95, I think instead of Jamal Crawford, we're looking at Deck like a Tracy McGrady, type. You know what I'm saying? His name is up the ranks a little bit more. And then my last point, I'm glad you said, talked about Forever, Tony, because that's my favorite hip hop album of all time. I know it's not the best, but it's my personal favorite. Okay. I think that with those, and you said, Tony, too, that they could have ate off those beats for a long period of time, had they not been lost in 2 floods. 500 beats is a lot of beats, right? But me and Sean talk Wu all the time, but I don't think I've ever said this, but I just thought about it. If those floods don't happen with those hundreds of beats. It had to be a lot of beats that didn't have particular designations. Like we know Deck's album got lost, the original Iron Man got lost, the original Takal got lost. But what about the people who didn't have solo albums like You God, Master Killer, and Capadonna? I think before we get the culmination of Wu-Tang Forever in '97, if he still has all those beats, at his disposal, I think those other guys that are like deep on the bench get their first solo run before they get to the next group album.
Maybe. And here's something to think about too, because people forget about this. Q-Tip house caught on fire in Jersey, and he lost a lot of beats for Beats, Rhymes, and Life too.
Mm-hmm.
So
Fire and water.
Fire and water. You know what I mean? So we also got to think about what would Beats, Rhymes, and Life look like. You know what I mean? Because
Yes.
I know me and Tone. I think Tone, that's how we met. We did the Beats, Rhymes,
Yeah,
and
because
Life.
I love Beats, Rhymes, and Life. But go ahead.
Right.
You remember that?
Right. Yeah, no doubt. But to me, what does that look like if those beats don't get lost in that fire? You know what I mean? So it's crazy. But great joint, Sean. Tone, what's your first joint?
This is a what if, right? What if MC Shan ignored KRS-One, out the South Bronx, and there's no bridges over? You know what I'm saying? How was Criminal Minded looked at, and now the whole legacy of KRS-One and Boogie Down Productions.
I think this
Well, you
is
know
for
what,
Sean.
Tone? I'm gonna throw this one in the ring with yours too, because one of mine is this: what if the Juice Crew was fully deep in '87 when the Bridge Wars was happening? Could Prime KRS take on Shan, Kane, G-Rap, and Master Ace?
No.
You can't do
I'm
it.
excited for this one.
He would have still took down MC Shan. That's light
Now,
work.
here's the thing, man.
Take down Kane.
I don't know, man. It's gonna be because here's the thing. I'm thinking, and again, hindsight is 2020. Did anybody really think that Cube was gonna take out NWA Dolo? I know. Oh, you thought that, AG?
He was my favorite rapper at the time. He was my favorite rapper.
That's more realistic than KRS-One taking out several other actual MCs, because you look at NWA. Don't get me wrong, MC Ren dope.
No, I get what you're saying.
If Cube wasn't Cube, that damn real niggas, this song would have buried a regular rapper. You know what I'm saying?
But that comes with knowing that Cube was their main pen outside of Ren. Like if you didn't know that, then you probably wouldn't think that Cube could have took him out.
Yeah. So and again, MC Ren with that real niggas, that was something special. If you go back and listen to this song right now, it took somebody as great as Ice Cube to be able to throw that shit out the water. You know what I'm saying? Now, as far as KRS-One, real quick, as far as battling the Juice Crew, could it? Yeah, everything's possible. But I tell you what, we still talking about prime. We talking about prime KRS-One. We talking about prime Big Daddy Kane. We talking about prime,
I got you.
We talking about prime Kool Rap. You know, and one of the most underrated MCs was Master Ace.
Here's the thing. I won't say, to me, Prime Kool Rap is the next album after Road to Riches, in my opinion, is one a day or alive. So we're still dealing with Poison, which is still dangerous. I'm not saying it's not dangerous, but I beat a lone wolf on this one. I think it would have been a great battle. You know what I would say? It would have been a Beans Jadakiss battle.
Yeah.
I think that's what it would have been. And people could have been like, it could have went either way. Because people got to remember, Prime KRS-One in 1987 was hungry. This joint right here, if you've never read it, read this. My brother's name is Kenny. This talks about the whole history of KRS. Talking about, nigga, I'm hungry. I'm homeless. I'm living on the fucking train. Talking about, I'm going to battles. I got nothing to lose, my nigga. Like, y'all niggas still have somewhere to go home and sleep at. Nigga, I'm sleeping on the trains. This hungry KRS-One in 87, my philosophy, poetry, that nigga, like I said, I believe it would have been, if not for nothing, it would have been, we don't know who won, but trust me, it wouldn't have just been no running over KRS-One in 87.
So we gotta be thankful that MC Shan was cocky like he was, to be like, I'm gonna do Kill That Noise then. You know what I'm saying? Without Kill That Noise, there's no bridges over. So Criminal Minds don't hit the same. Yeah, poetry and all that.
You're right.
All that shit is dope. But the Bridge Is Over is what took the album to the next level, and also probably gave them the damn firepower they have by all means, and all the other shit they end up doing. I mean, of course, Scott got killed and stuff like that, but yeah, I mean, but if Shan would have ignored that shit, then what else was KRS gonna do?
Right.
You know,
right.
You know, his whole career might be different. He said that. He said, man, on the beat, he said, man, if MC Shan would just ignore me, it might not be no human education against lies and all this kind of self-destruction, all this shit. None of that might have happened.
Well, I'll say this. I do think Criminal Minded still would have been dope, just because at that time in 87 when it dropped, it really was just about dope music. I mean, me and bro were just talking about Stetson Sonic's first album, On Fire. Like, if the shit was dope in 87 and 88 and it came out, we loved it. You know what I mean? So it didn't really, and again, so I agree with you that Bridge is over in the South Bronx. That is the foundation of Boogie Down Productions. But if Red Alert is spinning poetry and Criminal Minded and Super Ho and all those joints, niggas still would have been listening to it. You know what I mean?
People still like it.
People still would have been listening to it. You know what I mean? So it's almost like, but I'm with you on that. AG, what do you think? I'm sure, what are your thoughts on if Shan ignored KRS?
Well, I'm just a firm believer that if you're called to step into the ring, you step into the ring, regardless if you're the bigger artist, if you have more to lose or whatever. That's what hip hop was built off on. But you know what I'm saying? I'm going to skip my whole take because I want to defer this one to my man Sean because he's Queens. I really want to hear what he got to say more than me saying something myself.
Skip me too. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Sean, what you got?
Yo, listen.
You got the ISO.
First of all, shout out to Tony for bringing that up. Like, yo,
they let the Queen dude talk. All right, yeah. What you got to say?
Oh man, I could not stand KRS-One for a very long time.
I'm sure you could, B.
Straight up. You know what I mean? And shout out to Corona Queens, man. Cool G Rap for sure. But nah, Tony, that's a good one, man. Like, Shan shouldn't have never jumped into the ring. Shan was like the one for us. You know what I mean? Shan was the fly King Gold, the fly everything. Shan was the one for us. Shan was like our LL Cool J. Straight up.
I said the same thing, bro.
Yeah, he was the one. Shan, you always see Shan in the hood. Shan was always there. Shan was fly. And when he did that, and KRS-One did what he did, and he did the Bridge is over, I'm not even from the bridge. From Corona. So it's different over there. We 20 minutes from the bridge. And we was like, yo, we feel bad right now because when he said, yo, Queens keep on faking it, I'm like, yo, why do you say that? You know what I mean? Like, why do you say that? Like, I wanna go battle KRS-One. I'm like, I'm barely 10. I want to go battle KRS-One. But I hate that AG deferred it to me. God, this is so spot.
I knew it was personal.
He did y'all dirty, Sean.
Dirty. I'm bringing it back, man. So, but nah, that's a good one, Tony. I wish Shan never responded. Straight up. KRS was thirsty back then. He was hungry. He was a young lion, and he needed that. Yeah. He needed that, and Shan was fooled. Be honest with you, Shan wasn't equipped for that kind of battle rap, but KRS-One was. Shan was that wasn't Shan's style. Shan's style was more on some fly shit. Shan on that fly shit, you know, and he wasn't ready for that battle. He wasn't. To me,
it was Busy B versus Kool Mo D up at Harlem World. You know. Busy B came in there on some party shit. Mo D came in there on some battling shit. You know what I mean? And that's it. Next joint I got. I'm going to Philly with this one. What if Beans never gets locked up? Now let's talk about how many times Beans got locked up. So The Truth drops in 2000. The Reason drops in 2001, and The Becoming, which is a 5 mic classic to me, dropped in 2005. Now he got arrested. He got arrested in 2002. For federal weapon charges and did a year. Got arrested in 2004 on federal weapon charges again and did a year. He got arrested in 2010 for tax evasion, did 25 months. So I just felt him going in and out of jail just messed up him being able to promote his music, him being able to do everything. And even through the Jadakiss and the Beans battle, like that really started back in 2001. And we look at it like Jada is looked at like as one of the GOAT rappers. And again, a lot of that is because of that verses. Because I was there. I was in New York when that shit happened. And I swear to y'all, at 7:25 p.m., The Lox was one of the top 50 groups ever. And by fucking 11:59 p.m. the same night, they was a top 2 group ever in the history of hip hop. Like that, I've never seen.
That did happen.
Like that. And this is and Kiss went from being top 5 dead or alive in a couple of people's faces to being the best ever. You know, saw the same thing with Black Thought on Funk Flex. Black Thought at 6:25 p.m. That nigga was underrated. Nobody really fucked with him. Couldn't get on the track. At fucking 9:58, that nigga was the greatest rapper who ever picked up a microphone. And from that day forward, he fucking has been featured on everybody's album. So the great thing about the internet is in an instant, you can change your whole trajectory. But I just felt like Beans should be mentioned as one of the GOAT MCs, but I just think him getting locked up and not being able to really, you know, put out music and really stay at it like that really fucked him up. And then from the time he got shot, now his voice being fucked up, you know, it really hasn't bounced back. So what you think about that? What do you think would have happened? Do you think Beans is looked at as a GOAT MC if he didn't get locked up, or kind of is you think he'd still be the same?
Nah, I thought Sky was the limit for Beans, man. And you know, on one of my blogs, I wrote an article about Beans a couple of years ago, and I just reposted it probably about a month ago. I thought he had everything as an MC. You know what I'm saying? Battles. He was like deep as far as like the Scarface type of songs. He can do the What Your Life's Like and the Die and stuff like that. He can battle rap. You know what I'm saying? He can do the joint like on the Dynasty. I mean, the Dynasty with Jay-Z about their fathers and stuff like that. So he was like Ice Cube and Scarface and a little bit of Biggie, all the shit in one. You know, he had all of that stuff with him. So I felt like if his life would have went different, personal life, I think that he would have had more bigger albums and bigger features, and he'd be looked at as a bigger star. But hip hop purists know how great Beans is as an MC. So all of us know that. But to your point, Kill, the masses would appreciate him more if he would have had more time to make more music and not be in jail so much, man, or getting shot or being in the hospital or being this. He's a real street nigga that knew how to rap. You know what I'm saying? And
right.
And Jay has been famous for saying he tried to teach Beans some game to get out the streets. You know what I'm saying? And Beans was just kind of hard-headed, man. But the Becoming, to me, is the perfect balance of what Beans is as an MC. You know? And so that's after one of his jail stints too. So he still had it, no doubt. That's his best album to me, and I think that he had at least 2 more of them in him with the right people in place in his personal life, man.
I agree.
Right. Sean, what about you? What you think, bro?
Man, first of all, it's too much Philly talk in this John. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. No, man. Tony, you killed that. Y'all got me going after Tony like Meth After Deck on damn, Kill. No, I think here's the thing, fellas. I think that Jay was so big, right? And you got Beans under that umbrella. That I think it stifled Beans a little bit because Beans was dope, man. Beans could have easily, hell, he leapfrogged Bleak easily. Bleak was next up.
He did.
And Beans came out. That's a shot at you, AG. But Beans came out of nowhere and really took the baton and leapfrogged, Bleak, and got right behind Jay. Right. And I've always, and I love Jay. People, get on me because I always talk about Jay in a different light. Queens get the money, but I think that Jay needed Beans more than Beans needed Jay. And the reason why I say that is because Jay's style had to evolve a little bit more when you got Beans in that studio with you. Imagine if Nas would have had someone like a Beans in 98, 99 in the studio with him. You dig what I'm saying? You're talking about someone that's going to influence you to step your game up. And Jay had to step his game up because you got Beans in that corner, like growling, like he's ready to get on the mic. Yeah. You know what I mean? Jay looking at that like, damn, this guy's on my shoulder right now. He's in the camp, but he's pushing me to be great. You know what I mean? Steel sharpen steel, iron sharpen iron. And I think that Beans' trajectory was somewhat stifled with the way Jay was able to like really transform his whole thing and cross over into hip hop seamlessly, because Jay started turning into a whole different brand than he was as a hip hop artist, as an individual. He
Oh, I
became
see.
bigger than hip hop, if you will. And Beans suffered from that, in my opinion.
You know, Beans
Sure.
pushed him on the Dynasty album. Though. I ain't mean to cut you off. Beans
No, no, no.
pushed, to your point, Sean, Beans pushed Jay-Z on that Dynasty album because
Yeah,
Beans only he's only 8 songs. And he had to match Beans' energy, which goes back to make me think about when they did that, when he was recording Dynasty. Think about the Dynasty intro. That's the most introspective Jay-Z you'll ever hear. That he blanked the fuck out on the Dynasty intro. But like you said, Beans is in the corner with you. So you gotta do 8 songs with Beans. You have to be on
Have to lock in.
You can't do that volume 2 thing. Dynasty different.
Yeah.
And you got Freeway over there, and Dynasty was supposed to be a actual Rockefeller collaboration for all of them, but they changed it and said this is a J album, but it's featured heavy with Beans. That was supposed to be a Beans album.
And Blige had a solo song on there.
Right. That was a rock compilation album.
It was.
Right. Gerald, what you think?
Shit, I agree with all of you, with both of y'all. I was gonna ask because I was gonna think like Jay being so big. Was that a reason that Beans really couldn't get what he really was supposed to? Even going to jail and back and forth, I'm like, y'all just said, Jay even switched up a little bit of his style because Beans was right there. Like, this dude is hard, you know what I mean?
I have another reason. I have another reason why Jay-Z, when it's my turn, was a reason why.
No, go ahead.
And Rel, you may be about to say the same thing I am. I've heard stories of Jay almost sabotaging Beans' career.
That's what I wanted to ask.
Okay. You got it.
Go ahead. That's what I wanted to ask.
Clear it out. 1 4 low.
Yeah, call the ISO. I'm gonna go let Boots out real quick. I'll be right back. Call the ISO.
All right, so here's the thing that bothered me about the Jay Beans situation. If you look at the releases of Beans' album, Jay always released too close to their albums, like, and it had a negative effect on, like, he's not going to be able to flourish like that. You know what I'm saying? If he puts out an album and then a couple weeks later Jay's album comes out, like, people are not going to give Beans the proper listen and look because Jay is so big and he's coming up under Beans. Because to be honest, like, the song Throw Your Hands Up, that song, if Jay isn't Jay, he gets washed on that song.
That's one of Jay's best verses. Yeah.
Jay had to come with some shit. Because if he did not, he would have got washed on that verse. You know what I'm saying? Beans was there, and as a Philly dude, I know that Jay bringing all them Philly dudes in, he was influenced by that. His flow changed. Young Chris, he started rapping like him a little bit. Like, all of that happened. But as far as Beans, the jail stuff hurt him, but also being up under Jay-Z, he was never gonna flourish the way he should have. If you look at the releases, you can see he was releasing albums too close to being, like, it was almost like a sabotage. And then another thing that was happening, and it happens everywhere, so I'm not picking on Jay, but it's a lot of songs that were not his that he heard and took. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of songs that he would hear him and he took. His biggest hit was not his song. Now, would it been a big hit with the other person? Probably not. So, of course, you know what I'm saying? But it's just a simple fact that, like, it was hard for some of them to flourish to a certain point, especially Beans. Hard for them to flourish to a certain point being up under Jay with the way things was going. So I think that was, along with the jail stuff, but it was almost, I don't know if it was purposely, but it was almost like a sabotage. Like, look at the releases, bro. Like, if you look it up, you can see, like, how close these releases was, and it was like, how is he going to flourish like that? You know what I'm saying?
Remember, some boy was talking about, like, Beans had put something out, and then out of nowhere, Jay just dropped the H to the Izzo, like, and just did live at the BET Awards. It's like, yo, we just dropped this Beans thing. Like, why are you going to come out and drop your new single? And, you know, and I think a lot of times, I always call Jay-Z hip hop's Marlo. And if you watch The Wire, then you know Marlo was just a user. He would come around you, get what he needed, and then he'd kill you. You know what I mean? Herb talked about. They was like, yo, Jay never come up here to the Rough Rider floor until niggas started moving units. Now you want to come up here and hang out with Swiss and hang out with us. You know, or now you want to come over here and do this, or now you want to come to Philly and take Young Chris' whole style, and then now all of a sudden state prop breakup. So to me, Jay's this type of dude who's gonna come around you, use you. It's like, yo, let's get these young Philly boys, put them on, do that. You know what I mean? I'm about to battle all these niggas over here. I'm gonna stick my young boys on them. You know what I mean? So I just think, yeah, I definitely see it being sabotaged too, along with the jail stints and everything like that. You sign somebody and it's like, yo, this nigga's dope, but damn, is he doper than me now? You know what I mean? And now you got to figure that out. And if he is doper than me, I can't have him on my team like that. And then too, it didn't help when the Rockefeller split and then Beans with Dame. You know what I mean? That was like DOS Effects going with PMD. Like, nigga, you chose the wrong parent in the divorce. Like, you should have chose Eric like Redman did. Then you see how Redman career went. So that's the thing. AG, what did I get everybody? I can't even remember because I know we got AG. Right.
Hold on. That's why Nas, psychological Nas, or either that compared to Beans, you whack. He ain't just say that just to say it, bro.
Right.
Yeah. Yo, I'm glad everybody said what they said so I don't sound crazy, because I pretty much got an amalgamation of what everybody said. Because you said Marlo, but I think Jay's like Rogue from X-Men. He just like absorbs like everybody's powers. You know what I'm saying? And like it's crazy because like I think that if Beans don't go to jail, and of course the caveat, if the Rockefeller camp don't split up, before Watch the Throne, I think we do get a Beans and a Jay collab album, because even with everything Jay has done with Kanye and other rappers, Beans is his greatest collaborator. And like you all alluded to, Beans pushed his pen the most, right? So, but he would always get Jay would always get his preference of the beats, and then, you know, Beans might get B tier folder beats, you know what I'm saying? Because you got to think, Bink, Just Blaze, Kanye, they're all in-house. And when Jay's in baseline, he's not going to let, you know, Beans get a certain joint without him jumping on it first. He's at least going to be a feature if he don't take the record for himself. But, you know, Sean can attest to this because I say this all the time. Blueprint came out the way it is because I think the Dynasty is a precursor. You can hear the direction Jay was going a little bit, you know, on the Dynasty. It was flashes of it, but it wasn't quite put together. But even before that, the Reason album, sonically, is a precursor to the Blueprint with the soul samples and all that. And then Jay heard that album, and I think that's what inspired the Blueprint. So I think if Beans don't go to jail, Jay is still drawing inspiration from Beans in a lot of ways. And like you said, Kill, for lack of a better term, he's using them to prolong his career. Similar to what he did with Kanye and Watch the Throne and Blueprint 3. Kanye was the hottest out at the time. So I think, you know, it's more beneficial for Jay if Beans don't go to jail than Beans in the grand scheme of things, because I think Jay is utilizing Beans more.
Damn.
And a good point too is that when you think about it, Beans has gotten Jay a couple of times when they on their same song together. So this is for somebody watching who may be like, yo, Kill, you bugging. Beans a GOAT? Like, well, he's on the same songs with what most people say is the GOAT. And he's either going bar to bar with him or he's doing better than him. You know what I mean? And the same with Kiss. He was right there with Kiss with this battle, but a lot of people have Kiss as the top 5. So that's why it's like Beans' name got to be in it. You can't go bar to bar with Kiss, who you think is top 5, and go bar to bar and maybe get Jay and maybe get Kiss and not be top 5. You know what I mean? So just some ideas. AG, what's another joint you got?
I was going to save this one for later, but since we're here now, you brought up Kiss, and he was talking about how people switched up on the verses. Sean can attest to this too. Kiss has been in my top 5. He's had that 5th spot in, you know, my top 5 for a very long time. So my what if is, you know, because this pisses me off to this day, but what if right on the heels of the verses beating Dipset, Kiss drops that 5 mic classic solo album, you know, that everybody's been clamoring for right after the verses. Is that top 5 Dead or Alive officially stamped if he does that?
I think is he stamped top 5? I think. All right, let's do this. Are we saying top? Are we? Because we on 5B we gotta break things down. So are we saying top 5 GOAT MC ever? Top fave MC ever?
He said that. He said Dead or Alive, bro. And you know, he made that proclamation. But does that hold more weight if he gives that classic album? Is that like a more legitimate conversation?
Not to me. One thing, and the reason why I say that is that one thing I've learned in life is you got to talk your shit. You know what I mean? Like I said, nobody was saying who the best MC, Biggie, Jay-Z, and Nas. Not Jay put himself in that. Nobody was calling T.I. the king of the South. He started calling himself the king of the South. Everybody else started saying that shit. Nobody was calling the Roots legends until they said the legendary Roots crew.
Wayne, the best rapper alive.
Yeah, exactly. So you got to talk your own shit. I'm from the mindset of, I'm like, and Sean don't understand it with playground basketball. Nigga, you don't come to the park with a name. You go to the park and then you leave with a name if you dope enough. You know what I mean? You don't go to Rucker Park like, yo, my name Kill, skip to my Lou. No, nigga, your name Kill. And if you nice enough, then you'll leave with a fucking nickname. But you don't come bringing your old
mama
nickname
Clay.
to the party. Right. You don't come to the party like, hey, I'm skipping to my Lou. We don't do that. So what was happening in the 2000s is people started being like, yo, no, I'm gonna talk my own shit. So of course kids gotta say top 5 Dead or Alive. And after a while, what happened? People started saying, as people, we are very much parrots. If we hear something enough, we will start following suit with, top 5 Dead or Alive. His top 5 Dead or Alive. Even if he dropped the 5 mic album of the fucking decade, to me, he's still not gonna be better than Jay, Big, Nas, Rakim. So to me, he's not going to be top 5 just because you did the verses and you dropped one 5 mic album and you got 5 solo albums. But again, the educator in me is always going to bring this back to like looking at report cards. Like, nigga, you can't have 5 albums and one of them shits is classic and now you a top 5 rapper of all time of the last 52 years. Like, so for me, nah. But Ralph, what you think? Top 5 Dead or Alive if he does? And here's the thing. I was actually shocked they weren't ready for that, because think about how great that album would have been. Think about how crazy it would have been if they beat Dipset and then at midnight, nigga, I literally was at the hotel. MSG is right there. I'm literally adjacent to it. So all the people are coming out. If they would have dropped, if Kiss would have dropped the album at midnight, bro, the internet would have fucking broke. The internet would have fucking broke. So I'm actually shocked he didn't have something in the cut. And the bad part is we still haven't gotten anything. That shit was what, 3 years ago?
Fat Joe. I'm like, what are you doing, man?
Right. Like even 4 years later, like we still never got nothing. After that, you got the Kobe Trophy joint picture and everything, but we don't got no music. So, Ralph, what you think, bro?
For me, no. Even though he one of my faves, but he wouldn't have been top 5 just off of that. It would have been something that he's missing in the argument with Kiss. That's always going to come up. Where's his classic album? You feel what I'm saying? So it would have put a notch on his belt for something that he's missing. However, a lot of people I know, he would have been the greatest to some of these people, because after the goddamn verses,
he was the greatest without the album.
Yeah, without it, he was just arguing me that, and I don't like when I go, having a debate with somebody and it's about 2 people that I like. It was that I like. Like he dude trying to tell me he's better than Nas, and I'm like, I will not. You know how I get sometimes. I'm not letting that slide. Like, no, we're gonna talk about this. You know what I'm saying? But it forced me to say negative things about Kiss, which I didn't want to. But like, you feel what I'm saying? But if he would have, first of all, it was a missed opportunity.
Yes.
Like you said, because you imagine after that, and them people walking out of Madison Square Garden, and you look up and it's like a SUV, new Kiss, playing one of the singles.
Yeah.
Album coming out.
That would be insane.
Niggas would have crazy. Trust me. And it was people. So if he would have did that, it is people that would have had him probably number one, because it was people that was putting him up there just off the verses. He dropped the verses and a classic album. Well, that momentum.
So, real quick, imagine if he did a single live during the verses, like a new single for the. Come on, man.
Nigga. What? Come on, man. And it's crazy. Like Kill said, we still didn't get nothing. I'm disappointed in that, because that was the perfect opportunity.
You missed the opportunity. Like that was it. Same thing when Usher did the Super Bowl. You supposed to drop at the Super Bowl, like that night. Like, yo, everybody, just while you here, IG midnight, like we come. So I don't understand how artists drop the ball constantly when they have this stage, because I would have had that shit ready whether win, lose, or draw. You know, if we lost and we stunk up the place, well, fuck it, just we'll release it, in a couple of months. But if we win and shit is popping, drop that right now. And it's about people. When I was at 889, y'all remember Ill and Out Scratch?
Absolutely.
Yes. Right. So the thing was, everybody loved it, With My Homies, all that shit. And the album dropped, and it was like 6 new songs and like 5 remixes of Where My Homies was. And I was talking to the label rep, like, yo, I thought the album was gonna be crazy. He was like, yo, Kill, man, Where My Homies blew the fuck up. We gave them niggas had 7 days to make that album. 7 days to make that album. And what that taught me was, don't never turn no single into the label until your album is done. So just in case they say some crazy shit to you, like, yo, the album's going crazy, the song's going crazy, you got 7 days. Oh, fuck that. Here you go. Right there. Right off rip. You got it. Because now you in the studio, right? Yo, there's literally like 5 different versions of Where My Homies and the joint with Brian McKnight with the I'll take it. Because they had to hurry up and do that. So again, they should have had that ready. A new Locks album, new something.
At least an EP
should have been in the cut. Yeah,
right.
Something should have been in the cut. Some should have been in the cut. Sean, what you think, bro?
I would have preferred a Locks album, because I don't know if a Jada album would have moved the needle. You got to think about the climate that we're in hip hop now. We have a lot of guys who was on the sidelines are inside the game now, and I'm talking about the media. I'm talking about Twitterverse, social media as a whole. And I don't think they will hold it. I don't think they will give it an opportunity to be a classic. Because again, we see some wild stuff on the Twitterverse, right? We see some wild stuff on social media. Everyone is saying things for hot takes, right? And I don't think it would have got drowned, if you will, in just that kind of universe. I would have rather see maybe a Locks album dropping afterwards, because Kiss. I think what Kiss did, I love Kiss, huge Kiss fan. He's definitely in my top 10, personal top 10. But I think we saw from Kiss what we already knew from Kiss. And it's kind of similar to what we talked about Method Man before. We know what Meth can do. We've seen what Meth can do on features. We've seen Meth blaze tracks here and there since 93, right? But he still hasn't dropped that definitive classic. I don't know if he drops it today, does it change anything? I think it just say, well, it took you so long. I think that's what happened.
Right.
It took you so long. Like, you finally got one, you know what I mean, after all these times. And I think time has passed. I think too much time has passed. The opportunity to drop that classic was in the early 2000s, maybe 99, maybe 98, 99. But the early 2000s was the chance. 2001 was the opportunity to do that, to set the tone moving forward. And I don't think that happened, and it won't happen now. It wouldn't have changed anything.
Right. Tone, what about you?
Man, you guys know I'm a big personal discography, man. You know what I'm saying? So, that would have been dope if Kids would have dropped 5 mics to do point. Yeah, it would have been like, man, it took a long time, bro. He would have been the talk of the town. He was the hottest nigga after the verses. People elevated his status after the verses. I'm a huge Kids fan, so it would have been dope to hear that. But when I think about somebody saying top 5, you want to say your personal, like, favorite rapper or favorite top 5, that's fine. When I look at the history of hip-hop, and I'm old, I'm looking at Rakim, KRS-One discography. You looking at Nas, Jay-Z, Pac, even somebody like a DMX. Scarface discography could be in the top 3 ever in hip-hop. Ice Cube discography. We talking about that. Common got Resurrection, One Day It'll All Make Sense, Like Water for Chocolate, B, The Auditorium. Kiss ain't got shit like that. You got to put it in perspective. He got some good, cool solo albums, bunch of fire verses, fire songs. he ain't moved the needle as a solo MC. Ghostface killer discography, dog. What are we talking about? Kiss ain't moving up shit. He's gonna be dope at that moment. We're gonna ride to his new classic album. But the niggas I'm naming got two or three classics.
You got him in spades. Yeah.
But you know, son, what the difference is with everybody you just named? They never talked they shit.
Oh well.
They never came out and said, like I said, I need to start saying Apartment 5B, the hottest podcast out in these streets.
You
like
said
you gotta talk your own shit. And I'm guilty of not doing it. Like you gotta be a certain mindset to do that. That's just not my mindset. I come from the mindset of Rucker Park. If you're dope enough, people will talk about it. But you know what? That mindset don't work in this social media world. You know what I mean? If you sit around and wait for somebody else to give you your flowers, nigga, you'll get them when you die.
We'll wait.
So yeah, so you got to talk your shit.
Oh, no, and I appreciate kids talking that, and that top 5 Dead Alive was definitely some dope marketing and all that good stuff. Just like everybody else who named themselves something, it was great. Now, and to Kiss' point, don't get it twisted. Kiss was a spitter. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
One of the greats on a track. Most of the time, he murdered people on tracks. You know what I'm saying? Got one of the dopest voices in hip hop history. You know what I'm saying? Probably hard pressed to find a whack verse from Kiss. You know what I'm saying? So he deserved the props he get. Don't get me wrong. He is well deserved, man, and he'll always be remembered as one of the dope MCs. You know what I'm saying? But you know
what it also is with Kiss. He reminds me of a playground ball player. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's gonna give you the flashes. He's an and one player. When the first and one mixtapes came out way back in the day with Skip, with the first joint when it was on a VHS cassette tape. And one mixtape. That's what Kiss is. Those and one players don't play well in a good system. Facts. They play great in the playground. They don't play well in the system. So Kiss is going to give you those verses, but is Kiss going to give you an incredible song? You know what I mean? And that's the difference. You know, and for me, and again, we all want different things from a different MC. Yeah. So some people, when people say, yo, Black Thought is a top 5 GOAT for them, I'm like, oh, well, you really don't care about topics. You a rappity type rapper, which is fine. Like that, if that's what you like. Again, this shit is just like what you're attracted to. If you like big titties, that's your thing. You like a fat ass, that's your thing. You like them short, you like them. It's about what you like. I'm not here to say what you like is wrong and what I like is right, but it's just about like, for me, I want songs. And that's what Kiss is not going to give you. He's not going to give you a Birds Don't Sing. You know what I mean? He's going to give you some dope bars. He's going to give you some rewindable moments. He's going to give you some, oh shit, you heard what he just said? And if that's what you like, then I could definitely see Kiss being in your top 5. But to me, like Tone said, I'm real big on discography. I'm real big on those things. So that's just me. Rel, what you got up for another one? We gonna have to come back and do a part 2. Yeah. We already at 2 hours, so it's all good. I love a part 2, but you know, another reason to bring y'all back. But I don't know how I thought we was gonna do 5 of these a piece. That's fucking like 30 what ifs. So you know, just wishful thinking. But Rel, what you got?
This one's for my man JR. 1991, New Edition makes. What's the album with all of them? Was it Home Again?
Home Again.
Home Again.
Instead of making it in 96 when it came out.
That's crazy.
Crazy.
What Home Again was like 2000, wasn't it?
No, it was 96. Sean had the same joint verbatim. That's wild.
Because listen, they had talked about it.
It's crazy.
They had talked about it in 90, 91 that they were getting back in the studio and working on it. Think about where those artists were at that time.
They were the hottest.
Where they were in 96. And then the songs that you got from the collaborators, Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. The songs that maybe went to Boys and Men, maybe went to these other, would they have been New Edition songs? And a lot of them were more close to their peak at 91. What would have happened? What do you think would have happened if that album with all of them together came out at that time instead of when it actually came out?
That's crazy.
Sean had to join like verbatim. Great minds think alike.
I think it would have just did good from just of who they were at that time. It would have just been on the heat of how hot they were. To be honest with you, I think you needed Home Again to come out in '96 because we needed that. Oh my God, they're back together, and they kind of chilled a little bit. So it was kind of anticipation, like, and then you come with Hit Me Off and all that. Because you know what I'm saying? Because I think in '91, I don't think they were ready. They were not ready. They needed to do their second albums after that with Bobby's third, and you know, you needed another BBD record. You needed that. They were in that space. I don't think they were ready to do a new edition project then. You know what I mean? Because I don't think they weren't, their minds weren't there. Because after BBD blew, no, they wasn't thinking about no new edition record. Like, they was on their own. You know what I mean?
I ain't got to split this paper.
Right, like, it's just us three, and then we're going to go back to being in the background? Nah.
Yeah.
We don't need that right now. Like, nah. You know,
so I know, like,
would have benefit off of that would have been Ralph. To be honest,
okay.
He would have been the one that benefited. That would have been the only one.
I know the egos and all that probably would have been worse.
Oh God, yeah.
But would the music have been better?
Too many Chiefs, not enough Indians, man.
Yeah.
Like, cause, you know, Johnny Gill coming off of his album, you know what I'm saying, as a lead vocalist, and Ralph coming off of Sensitivity, like, it's just not. So
it's one of them things that sound good, but it probably ain't gonna work.
You'd have been fighting in the studio.
You know what?
Ain't enough basketballs on the court.
Yeah. You know what it is, Rel? Like, RZA talks about when he had to do Forever and fly everybody out to LA, because he was saying doing 36, everybody wanted to be in the studio. You know, when a nigga got done their verse, they stayed and helped the next man and everything. But by the time they was doing Forever, everybody's a star now. Yep. So now when niggas come to the studio, they just say they verse and they jet. And it's like, damn, like, where's the energy? So he had to fly everybody out to LA. Same thing Puff did with Big when they was working on Life After Death. I forgot what island they flew to. They was in an island. You know what I mean? Like, yo, I'm getting y'all away from all this noise. So you bring in BBD, the three niggas. Because here's the thing. Just imagine this. BBD, niggas had to be like, yo, shut the fuck up. Y'all niggas don't do shit. There had to be some of those conversations throughout the year. Like, Mike, if you don't shut the fuck up, nigga, you don't do shit. Like, mind your fucking business, Mike. Like, dead ass. Like, those conversations had to be had. You can't talk to Mike like that no more.
No.
Nigga, the fuck wrong with you? I'm BBD. I sold just as many records as y'all did, if not more. In fact, in the streets, we more popping than y'all are, niggas.
And Ricky Bell ain't singing background no more. He like, nigga, I lead singer all these.
I'm lead.
Right.
So in '96, it was a humbling that went on.
Yeah, hell yeah. That Hootie Mac fell off. That shit was whack.
The Bobby album didn't do
cooled off.
Yeah.
Donnie's album didn't do as great, so they got a piece of humble pie. Like, all right, so let's go back to what, you know what I'm saying? Let's go back.
Go back home again.
Right. Let's go back.
No pun intended.
Right.
See, y'all that's watching, this is why you watch 5B. You learn something. Because I really was wondering that, and I got a good answer. So I thank you.
Yeah. I would have loved to see it, though. I would have loved to see them arguments, because, you know, niggas
You just want the mess.
Yo, right. Ricky would have been like, Ralph, if you don't shut your sensitive ass up and shut the fuck down, you sold the least amount of records.
They were doing that during the Home Again album. It was bad.
Yeah.
They grew up together, man. They was fighting on some real shit. The funny part about this is they ain't no suck. They niggas from the projects.
Right, facts. They don't get twisted.
Fight, you know?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. All right, JR, what's your next one, bro?
All right. I got to talk about it. What if Mary didn't pop off at all?
Shit, the whole game changed, nigga.
The street sweeper, you fuck street sweeper out.
What if Mary didn't pop at all? Like, nothing. So it wouldn't have been no stuff. It wouldn't have been no bad boy. It wouldn't have been none of that. Like,
all
R&B shorties would still be dressed up in gowns.
Yeah, all them R&B hip hop girls, the Mona Lisas, Monifa, goddamn, all of them, Gina Thompson.
Nope.
None of that.
Like, especially if they tried it and it just flopped. Like, yo, we gonna try this hip hop R&B shit, and it just flops like nobody bites on it, we still getting all them niggas from what's the joint Quincy Jones Slow Jam with Albie Shore, all them niggas.
Secret Garden.
Oh,
Secret Garden. You still James Ingram still out here with suits and hard bottoms on. Like niggas niggas are still wearing hard bottoms now.
Yeah.
I was saying because you was getting Michelle at first before Mary.
I mean, Michelle didn't have, but it didn't have a hip hop.
No.
Michelle wasn't coming out singing over top billing. Like if you didn't know. You didn't know that Dre was producing that, you would have had no idea that Michelle was on Relativity. I mean, Relativity, right? No, I'm bugging. Ruthless. She was on Ruthless. You would have had no idea. Something in my heart. There's really not too much nicety. None of that had a real hip hop feel to it. You know what I mean? But if Mary comes out and they try it and Real Love just flops, and what's the 411 just does nothing, like everybody's like, yo, what is this? You still keep your Shantae Moores and your, those songstresses. Those people don't, because that's what happened to them. The James Ingram, nobody wanted to see a nigga in a suit no more. Nobody wanted to see her.
But that was D'Angelo.
But this is before D'Angelo. Because Mary, the Secret Garden joint, that got to be like 90, 91. I'm in high school.
That's 90,
Yeah, something like that, like 90.
89.
Mary is 90. All right, 89 and Mary is 92. So the thing that kind of deaded all the suit and tie niggas was this hip hop shit. It was Mary and then Jodeci with the jeans and the boots. So if Mary don't pop, then that means Jodeci don't pop, which means niggas are still wearing suits and niggas are still going to kids too.
No.
But
okay,
J-Lo, you know
what happened, Gerald? No, why?
No, because Jodeci was out, but they had the image before Mary had it. So they did. That's right. They did before Mary.
Yeah.
They changed the image wise. So
I was thinking it was simultaneous, but yeah, you're right.
To be honest,
I would almost have to say then we would have to shift yours a little to if Jodeci didn't blow up then. Because if Jodeci blew and people accepted that, I don't see why people wouldn't have accepted Mary.
Well, see, the problem is with Jodeci wasn't singing off of no hip hop beats either. They were singing ballads, but dressing up like dudes, like hip hop dudes.
Right.
So it was a completely different.
Doing them nasty ballads.
Nasty. Yeah.
Right. No, they really wasn't nasty. They really wasn't nasty. When you think about it, stay, come and talk to me forever, my lady. Like, nigga, I got you. Like, shorty, I got you pregnant. I'm not leaving. Now, their second album with Fiendin' and like, the knock on Jodeci is that they was these freaky niggas, but the bulk of their songs was really like you and I, like niggas, like yo, it's just me and you. Like when you look at that first album, it's really just love songs. These niggas just look like thugs.
It was the second album.
So I always said that Boyz II Men said what the ladies wanted to hear, but Jodeci said what we was really thinking. Like, you know what I'm saying? That was like
y'all know my joke about Boyz II Men. Boyz II Men were the niggas that would walk they crush home to their boyfriend's house. So like your crush is Michelle. Like, Michelle, let me walk you home and make sure you get to Devontae's house. Okay. And he walks him home and Devontae's sitting there smoking a blunt. Look at this bitch ass nigga out here walking home. Like, nut ass nigga. Weird nigga.
Yeah.
Like, all right, nigga, thanks for getting her here safely. Fuck out of here, nigga.
Imagine hip hop without Mary J. Blige, though.
You can't.
That's what I want.
You can't imagine hip hop. You can't.
No lie.
No lie.
No Mary and Meth. No.
That's a Grammy-winning song.
Yeah,
it's no bad boy at all. So there's no big. There's no big.
Her tree of influence and her impact on hip hop. I mean, it's way more massive than we can even imagine, man.
Yeah.
No, can't knock the hustle. Man.
Yeah. I mean, people forget. I remember in real time when Not Gonna Cry came out, because Mary was just for us, and people's parents were like, don't nobody want that shit. That Not Gonna Cry, that shit was an anthem for all women who ever had a nigga who left them. So for all our mothers and aunties and people who had a man who left them or some shit like that, that became the anthem. And I saw older women want to start going to see Mary. I remember my old boss, he was in his 60s, and his wife was like, yo, I want to go to Vegas to see Mary. And this is years ago, like 15, 20 years ago. But just the fact that somebody older, somebody's mother wanted to go see Mary J. Blige, like that wouldn't have happened when my life came out.
You can make an argument that My Life is the greatest R&B album of the night. You can make an argument. It's in a debate.
It is.
It's there.
I mean, I'm not mad at that. You're 100% right. And that Not Gonna Cry just took her to a whole nother.
It took her over to the crossover.
You out of here. You out of here forever.
Right. But you know what? JR? The thing I loved about that, it was a different crossover. It wasn't a crossover like I'm trying to cross over the white
Thank
folks.
you.
It was a crossover of
I'm
now jumping to a different demographic. I'm going from just the 14 to the 25-year-old. Now I'm jumping up here. So
like Motown fans fell in love with her.
Yeah. It was a different kind of crossover. It's a crossover most people really want.
And I'm still being me. I'm not changing for nobody. You know what I mean? That's what I love about her. Because she's still crossover, but still with her. She's still in that Not Gonna Cry. She still look like the My Life Mary that we love.
That's why we got to come with a new word, because it's not a crossover. It's not a crossover. She didn't try to cross over the white folks. She just did a demographic move. She came up. So we got to come.
She elevated.
We got to come. Yeah.
And that song being on that soundtrack, that was
that killed it.
He was a smart dude, for real, because Andre Harrell did not want her to do that record at all.
Word? Dre didn't want her to do that?
Andre Harrell was like, no, and Babyface was like, you are stupid, because this is going to take Mary where you want her to go. And he was like, no, this is going to box her in and all that. And he was like, she is boxed in. We need this. And then he begged her to do it. And he was like, okay, let her do it. And he had to apologize to Babyface. So
there you go. Sean, what you got up next for your last joint, bro?
I couldn't hear you. I'm sorry.
No, I said Sean, what he got up for the last joint. And now I'm going to get to you, Tom.
I'm gonna keep it on R&B. What if Jermaine Dupri never linked up with Usher? Because
he wouldn't have been who he is. Nope.
Usher was on the cusp of like really not making it. Like we weren't gravitating to Usher at all until Jermaine Dupri came into play. But Usher was with Puffy and they were trying to get things rocking with him and trying to get other producers around him and writers around him. They couldn't crack the code. They was touching on it, but they couldn't really crack the code. But when Jermaine Dupri got involved and cracked that code, and really gave us the Usher that became a legend at a time when we needed a legend like Usher, I don't even know if his trajectory would have gotten to where it is today. Because you got 8701 and you followed up with Confessions. Confessions might be, fellas. Confessions might be a top 10 R&B album of all time.
For me, you can make an argument.
Straight up,
you can.
I gotta throw a time span on that, because all time for R&B is rough. Like now we fucking with Marvin. If we say from now, fuck yeah, that's easy. Yeah, that's easy.
How about over the last 30 years?
Yeah.
I was talking about Marvin and Stevie and all of them.
Yeah, once you start messing with that,
those are aliens. Those are they over here somewhere. Yeah,
we talking about among the mortals, Sean.
Right.
Yeah. On the mortal side of things, yes. On the mortal side of things, yes.
Right. Of his peer group. Of his peer group.
Oh shit, yeah.
It was.
I would say that. Well, JR, you go first. You the R&B.
I was gonna say because it was hard for Usher to get through anyway, because somebody was rocking before him, Tevin Campbell.
Yeah.
So it was hard for him to get through. So they tried to make him grown. And it just didn't work. It just didn't work with that sound, because Tevin was kicking ass. I'm ready.
Tevin could sing.
You know what I'm saying? And he was singing down. So it was like nobody could really mess with Tevin. So it was the shift in like 96 where it started to be more about the sex appeal and all of this.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's not Tevin's bag. Tevin is more of the dress them up and sing.
He on the suit and tie, hard bottom type.
That's it. Yeah. So when Jermaine comes in, Jermaine was like, listen, this kid needs to dance. He needs to do this. We need to give him that's why Usher started taking his shirt off and dropping his pants and all of this. It added to what Jermaine created around him. So once that happened, Usher blew. But
He's out of there. Yeah.
Out.
And I'll say, Puff. I'm just glad he got with Jermaine Dupri.
Me
Because who
too.
knows what the fuck else
Me too.
Yo,
with poor Usher, with poor Usher and any other child who I question any parent who left any kid around Puff.
That was my takeaway. So you can skip me. That was my takeaway.
I'm gonna just question anybody who leaves your 12-year-old kid with Puff. So and Justin Bieber ain't looked
terrible, man.
Justin Bieber ain't looked the same since. I seen this nigga the other day. I was like, who? That's Justin Bieber. What the fuck did y'all do to this poor kid, man?
Best case scenario, he'd be a shelved bad boy artist. Best case scenario.
That's best case.
Facts.
Yeah. Nah, but that's a good one, Sean, because JD really did, put the right people, get the right musicians, John Tay Austin, Brian Michael Cox, just that crew of musicians and producers and songwriters that Jermaine has down in the cut is real dope. So that's a dope joint. Tom, what you got with your last one for the night, bro?
Last one, man. What if Tribe didn't put Busta on Scenario?
Ooh.
If that doesn't happen, it's just demand for that Busta debut and the leaders find a way to stay together and all. Busta Rhymes career legendary, but does that happen? It's like the MC Shannon KRS thing. Like, what happens if because that Scenario, it's on the Low End Theory album. It's on one of the biggest albums of 1991. Tribe is at they apex with Check the Rhyme and all this jazz and all this like that. So and Scenario ended up being one of the biggest posse cuts in hip hop history. If that song doesn't have first of all, if it don't have Busta, it ain't the same kind of song. So I think the Low End Theory don't end with the same oomph without Busta, but it's still a legendary album. But for Busta, what happens to him if he's not on that song?
Man.
I still think the leaders still break up because it was turmoil prior to that. I still think the breakup happens. I just don't know if Busta's trajectory would be the same, but I still think the leaders break up though.
I do too. Yeah, because Charlie Brown has this thing with Busta.
Yeah, it was sad to see that in real time on was it Yo MTV Raps when it was like unfolding live, like.
Yeah, it was on TV.
Yeah, he walked away from him. Like,
that was a sad moment.
That was crazy. That was
crazy.
That was crazy.
Tom, I don't think Busta has the same oomph coming into his debut album. I think like AG said, I think they still break up. Busta still goes solo. Tip, all the people. Just speaking of, tumbling dice, Rashid Smith, making hoo-ha, I got you all in check, everything remains raw. I just don't think the anticipation is the same for it. So I think he still comes out and he makes the album, but that anticipation isn't there. Because when we heard that like a Dungeon Dragon, that was just it. That I think that Stop Time, that's right there with Redman's like, you think I got cerebral palsy. Like, it was those moments where you just did something that was like, yo, what the fuck? This nigga's a wild, like a Dungeon Dragon. And, then that kind of started Busta being that guest feature that was going to kill it. Whether it's on, the Flavor in Your Ear remix or, the Scenario remix. It's just, you now are waiting for Busta from that joint on. So I still think he comes out. I still think he has a good career, but I don't think he's known as that. Wait a second, Busta's about to spit y'all. Like, what are you gonna do? Right. Like, I don't think you get that moment without Scenario. Rel, what you think?
The anticipation wouldn't have been there because I remember after hearing that verse, that's where the anticipation came from. I know for me and the people I was around, you know what I'm saying, like that standout verse and moments on a classic song on a classic album. I don't know if we are getting the like you said the uproar for a Busta verse if we don't get that. Like, not saying that he can't make good music, but we was looking for him after that. You know what I'm saying? After that, we was like, yo, you know what I mean? That made a statement for him. They would have still broke up because the issues were going on before that. You know what I'm saying? right in front of our eyes or whatever. But yeah, I agree. Like the anticipation wouldn't have been there.
Agreed.
You know the funny thing, bro, about leaders with Charlie Brown. I don't know if you ever seen this book. It's called 7 Seconds or Less. It's about the Mike D'Antonio time in Phoenix. And throughout the whole book, Amari Stoudemire is pissed. No, I'm sorry, Sean Marion is pissed the whole book. Oh, they keep acting like I'm the third best motherfucker on the team. Nigga, you are the third best motherfucker on the team. You are. I hate to break it to you, Sean. It's Steve, then it's Amari, then it's you. You know, he would get pissed the whole book. It's like, Steve, out at 2 MVPs, nigga don't play defense. When his man gets past him, then I gotta jump and play. Charlie, you are not the best in the group, nigga. Like, just play your position. And you saw where Sean Marion's career went after he left Phoenix. It disappeared because you didn't play your position, you know. And I get it. It must be hard if you think you are the better MC, you know. But you got to read the room, Charlie. Like, niggas are not waiting to hear the self-awareness is very important.
Facts.
Yeah, it's very important. It's very important.
Yeah, over the spin, you ain't better than him, nigga.
Yeah, right. I get it. But you know what the problem is? I always blame your girlfriend and your niggas. Because they are the most lyingest motherfuckers in the world. Your girlfriend is always gonna be like, nigga, why you don't sing lead all the time? Ricky, you better than Ralph. And then Ricky, you know, baby, why? And your niggas, your girl and your niggas are the downfall of all groups. I guarantee you. I swear to God, if you did an interview with every group that broke up, I promise you, it's a woman and your niggas in your ear telling you, Charlie, you better than that nigga Busta. I mean, that Dungeon Dragon was alright, but your shit, that's so much more catchy, baby. You need to go out there, baby. Don't let these niggas pump you, Charlie. Nigga, what the fuck? You from Long Island, nigga? What the fuck you letting these niggas pump you for? Next thing you know, Lee's break up, and Charlie ain't been the same since, and then the girl leaves you. This is what always fucking happens. She always leaves. She leaves.
Watch Silks Unsung. Watch the group Silks Unsung.
I was about to say that.
Little G started messing with this chick, and she told him to go solo, and he ruined Silk.
Oh, man.
Told him to go solo?
His girlfriend told him to go solo. And Little G ruined Silk.
He did.
That's why everything was Tyler Perry played.
And then when you see Lil G in them plays, get off God's bus if you ain't got correct change, shit like all the wild.
Right.
Yeah. And Keith was
get off the bus if you ain't got the correct change.
Get off God's bus if you ain't got correct change.
Get off God's bus. We need to make that play, Rel. Get off God's bus if you ain't got the correct change. That's it right there. Starring
That's
Little
where you
G.
see him at in them plays. You see him in them type of plays. Like,
I know ain't like, damn, you be like, damn, what happened to Michael from Good Times? Starring him, mama, if you ain't got the right change, get off God's bus right now. Starring everybody you always thought about. He is right here, coming up right now.
Ain't nobody come to see you, Otis.
I'm telling you, it's always your niggas and it's always your girl. Your girl is always gonna be like, babe, you better than him. You don't need RZA. Fuck this nigga RZA. He don't even be sounding good. I don't like the way he look at you. Next thing you know, now you done left Wu-Tang and now you fucking out here trying to go solo with you guys somewhere. Niggas, stop listening to your girl and stop listening to your niggas, man. Self-awareness, like Tone said, get some self-awareness. You need to be like, baby, I am not better than Busta, nigga. Did you hear the album? Okay, I am not better than that nigga. Okay, it is not right.
He's different.
You know what I mean? Somebody gotta explain that to you, God. You are not Ghostface, nigga. I know you think you are, but you are not. Okay?
Don't think you like that, man.
No, you are not like that. So, yo, dope show, y'all. We gotta come back for a part 2 because we still all got 3. We got more to go, so we're gonna come back with another part 2. No. JR, tell them where they can get at you. What's going on? What's going on with the R&B?
Right, check us out, the R&B Rats. We're going to start doing some more lives for real. We want to come back and start doing those. But the episode that's going to be out now is we did Music Soul Child and It Boys, Victims and Villains. We did that album. We talked about it.
How was that album? I've never listened to it.
Dope.
It's dope. Okay.
Oh my God, it's dope. And We talked
Okay.
about it with a young cat, and it was really a dope conversation for real. We got into it for real. But check us out, R&B Reps on Instagram, Twitter, all the same handles, all that good stuff. But we want to start doing some more live and having some more topics coming in. Elisa's starting to do her vinyl themes again. That 60-second joint. So she's starting that back again. JR Stack Life is coming back again. Then I'm going to go into the world of Philly International. I'm going to do that. So, yeah, the R&B Reps is coming with a lot more new things. So just check us out. But all JR's World of Soul, R&B Reps, all on Twitter, Instagram, all that good stuff.
And for people watching, he's got some dope episodes. You've got the Claudine soundtrack versus the Sparkle soundtrack.
That's your favorite
episode. I think that's how I met you, because to me that was ingenious. I was like, yo, Curtis Mayfield.
I thought it was the Leon.
It was the Leon. It was.
Yeah,
but that was one of the things that I was like, okay, this nigga knows what the fuck he's talking about. I've never seen two people have Sparkle battle fucking Claudine and Curtis Mayfield made both. You've got the joint where Ralph Tresvant, why didn't Ralph blow up and why didn't
you gave me that topic and I did that and that joint went out of here. I could not believe that.
So that's that. So definitely tap into him. Rel, what's going on? Where can they get at you, good brother?
Uptown Rel 215 on Instagram, JBen215 on Twitter. Yeah, that's it, man. Just going through some things, but I'll be all right. Gotta get back in the studio, man. Like, gotta get
where the album at.
I know, right? I've been dealing with some stuff, and I'm this too shall pass. So,
amen.
There you go. Tom, what's good with you, bro? Where can I get at you?
Yeah, just Tone the Dome on Twitter, man, and the Dome podcast on YouTube. Got more shows coming up soon. A few more guests coming soon. Just having fun, man, and go looking to collaborate with y'all guys too, man. Hip Hop Talks, man. I gotta get with you guys too, man. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man. Always just enjoying it all, baby. Just crack house Twitter, like Kill said.
Oh, y'all too on Twitter?
Yeah.
Yeah, like
missing off the day, like.
But here's the thing, and I was telling Tone and your man, God, bro, what's your man's name?
Rich.
We was talking on his podcast about I used to hang out in a crack house. So the reason why I could call this the virtual crack house is because I'm dead ass. What happened was it was 1995, and in 1995, 94, I wanted to make beats so bad that I didn't give a fuck. And my man hit me like, yo, my man got an ASR 10. That's all he had to say to me. So I'm in the crib down North Philly, dirty, and I'm like, oh shit, this is a crack house. Okay, fuck, I don't care. how we truncate this beat and where we getting the drums from. So the thing is if you hang out in a crack house, every now and then a crackhead is going to want to talk to you. And it's just part of the game. You know what I mean? So every day we choose to log into a virtual online crack house, and every now and then a crackhead is gonna want to fucking say what's up to you, and you gonna have to have a conversation. And it's not. And here's the thing: it's not their fault. I'm in their space, nigga. I'm bothering you. I'm in your house. This your crack house, nigga.
Right.
I'm trying to make a beat. You ain't in my house, so I can't get mad at you for fucking wanting to talk to me. I shouldn't be here. So it's our fault. AG, Sean, talk y'all shit about Hip Hop Talk, man. Let them know about it.
Sean, I'll let you take it, bro.
No, and first of all, crackheads, they do want to talk all the time, and they be want to talk about serious stuff. I'm like, yo, dog, I gotta keep it moving. Like, I don't want to talk. They want to talk about some serious things. Like, yo, you gotta get off of crack. That's the serious thing you need to talk about. But now Hip Hop Talks on Twitter, Hip Hop Talks on social media, of course, on YouTube. Man, we just love to have conversations about hip hop. We love hip hop. We love life. We try to infuse life with hip hop, because there are a lot of things that we do in our careers, for being like, I retired from the Marine Corps 20 years, and in the role that I have in life right now, it puts me in different places. I travel a lot for my job, and I love what I do. Come in contact with different people, different hip hop enthusiasts, hip hop artists, even producers, so on and so forth. So it's always to have a discussion to really continue to expand our palette when it comes to hip hop. You know what I mean? So we love to have these kind of conversations. Like, it's like joining you guys today, like super friends. We all come together and bring different opinions and ideas to a dope show with a dope concept. And that's what we try to do at Hip Hop Talks. We don't try to go after the clickbait stuff that's out there. You know, that stuff is there, and it's cool for people to do that. That's their thing. We had to talk about like the roots of hip hop and how it makes us feel. So we definitely need to collab, you know, with all of you guys again. Tony, be, you know, past due. You know, of course, still we got to continue to do this thing together. And
Always, bro.
You know what I mean? I think we can build a good community of true hip hop guys, hip hop purists who love the sport of hip hop and do the right thing with the journalism of hip hop. We can overcome that bullshit that's be out there as well. I mean,
no doubt. And y'all know me, Kill 889 Twitter, IG, the bookworm in me. You got the Boombox Project right here. So when you're talking about you're talking about a staple of hip hop, it was the boombox. You know what I mean? Before your phone, before headphones, before Beats by Dre, this is how you listen to the radio. This is where you would get your tapes and play them on this. And I mean, this joint right here was the one I always wanted and I could never get. This shit was just iconic to me. It had the double tape deck, you know what I mean, the 4 speakers. And I mean, you know, prayerfully, everybody saw it do the right thing. You saw how, you know, Radio Raheem moved throughout the neighborhood and you had the boombox. Another thing about a boombox, you had to be a thorough nigga to have one of these. You know what I mean? You didn't have to be a thorough nigga to have one in your room. You had to be a thorough nigga to take this thing outside and not get jumped for it and walk around with it.
With stickers on it.
You know, yeah, you know what I mean? So definitely a dope book. Always doing that. Definitely got to shout out the for people who don't know, we have a partnership. 5B has a partnership with the National Hip Hop Museum based out of DC. This upcoming week, we have the entire Hip Hop Happy Hour week. It's going to be crazy. On Monday, if you're in the DMV, even if you're not, jump on the road, come out and kick it. It's going to be me, JR, Rel, Trey Lee, Grap Lover for my man Mental, and we're hosting MC Monday. So every week, every day throughout this week, they have a joint going on. So you got your hip hop happy hours. It's MC Mondays. We got Turntable Tuesdays. It's a DJ mix off for all ages. Wild Style Wednesday, graffiti, art friendly competition, B-boy, B-girl Thursday, open break dance forum. On Friday, Grown Folk Friday, DJ party. I'm gonna be out there as a pop-up. And then on Saturday, they are inducting Kid and Play, the Jungle Brothers, DJ Hollywood, DJ Red Alert, Dana Dane, Sweet Tea, Kwame, and also Herbie Love Bug and Antoinette into their Hip Hop Hall of Fame. It's going to be hosted by Grandmaster Cass and Master G. So
that's
it's
Saturday?
definitely going to be that's Saturday, bro.
What time is it on Saturday, man?
That starts at doors open at 12. The ceremony is at 5. The concert is probably like around 6. You know what I mean? So again, if anybody knows me, I love the Jungle Brothers. They are my favorite crew out the Native Tongue. I did not say the best. They are my personal favorite crew out of the Native Tongue. So I cannot wait to see them do some joints off for Straight Out the Jungle. But it's definitely going to be a dope week for hip hop.
That's next Saturday.
Yeah, next Saturday. So that is the 23rd, August 23rd.
Okay.
So yeah, if y'all in the DMV, like I said, Monday is going to be a dope night. We're all going to be out there. And again, we're going to start doing our pop-ups from there. We do a pop-up usually once a month. So we got some dope stuff coming up. Real dope stuff coming up. So just keep it locked. Now I will check y'all next week, good people.